Hello, ladies and gentlemen. This has been an exhausting process. Can I just say that? This process has been truly exhausting. Are we on? Okay, we're on. We are having a late night tonight. I do not know how many people are going to be watching live. I considered doing this, like, kind of on the phone, but it's a classic. It's a classic formula for me to just fucking do it normally. Okay, now to do it like this, do it live. Let you guys interact with me if you choose to. Okay, so here's what we're gonna do. What's up, Jacob Lamp? I understand this is a late night tonight, and don't know how many people are actually going to be staying for this entire thing. These videos are long, and they kind of have to be. If you ever see a tier list that's like 10 to 15 minutes long, you're not seeing real analysis take place in that tier list. These have to be long, because there's so much to go over. There's so much to discuss about everything. Okay, now I don't know if before we go into the actual tier list itself, there is some things we have to go over first. Okay, I will link a timestamp in the description for people that are not watching this live to just skip right to the tier list if that's what you want to do. I understand some people don't like long introductions and they just want to like go right to it, but we do have to start with a few things. Okay, first of all, who's the tier list for? Okay, I'm still of the opinion that there's no comp Dead by Daylight. Okay, there is absolutely 100% no such thing as competitive Dead by Daylight. None. There's not a single fucking team is competitive in this game. There's no scene. You cannot be competitive in a game with no scene. Okay, so whatever these comp tournaments, all that people are starting to talk about for some fucking reason, they're not real. Okay, they're absolutely 100% not real. If you have a tournament, quote-unquote comp tournament with bad rules, it shifts the tier list all around. It's a big mess. It's just a fucking disaster. Okay, comp tournaments do not exist yet. Okay, until we get a standard rule set, there's no comp tournaments. Until you get a standard looking Identity V looking rule set, no tournaments. They're not real. So those the results don't factor into any of this. So what we have to look at is just kind of the basic pub matches, okay? So that's what's kind of what you have to look at. Just basic pub matches. Usually factor the Swifts in a lot more. The Swifts in high MMR is what you kind of have to look at. But since high MMR is not in the game quite yet, the tier list will shake up. A lot of people's tier lists are going to change when high MMR gets in the game. A lot of the Ox Darva looking tier list, that's going to shift when you see high MMR come into the game. Okay, so one of the things that we're trying to do here is be ahead of the curve. There are a lot of picks here that are interesting. There are a lot of picks here that are against the norm. There's a ton of them. A lot of picks right now, especially since one character in particular has a lot of momentum right now, and I just don't think they are like up there. I mean they're up there. They're just not that up there. Well, I mean, they're still better than like 95% of the roster, but there's a character right now that is like getting a lot of praise, and they are not where people think they are. We'll get to that character when we get there, but so yeah, no comps. That's the very first thing we want to say. Second thing, I've kind of restructured it a little bit from the last time we've started doing it. I used a very basic letter system the last time that we did this. This time I've changed it up slightly differently. Okay, we're still using the letters, but we have structured the entire tier list around my idea of the keystone. Okay, if anyone doesn't know what that is quite yet, okay, the idea of the keystone killer is the idea that there is a certain tier of characters that are like, those are the characters that the core of the game needs to be balanced around. Until those characters are viable, the core isn't fixed. Okay, this game has a very flawed, disgusting core. The core sucks. This game is shit. Okay, 100% shit. Okay, and those keystone killers are not the top tiers. They're not the bottom tiers. They're the mid tiers. There are 5 characters in particular that are very important to this game, and we will get to them eventually. They'll be towards the middle of the video. The keystone characters are the most important characters on this roster. Okay, so every tier is basically like constructed around the relation to the keystone character. In an ideal environment where these keystones are viable, what is going to have to happen to those characters in their respective tiers? It'll make way more sense when I post it and you actually see it. Okay, it's kind of hard to visualize because we're all just looking at the game right now. But there will be a link to the Discord, but there'll actually be a picture of it. If I can find a way to get a link to a picture of it just in the description, I'll do that after I'm done here. But again, this is all after I'm done here. So that's what we're talking about so far. The tier list is constructed around the idea of the keystones, and there's no comp. There is no competitive Dead by Daylight. It's zero. Whatever the quote-unquote basement comp scene is doing, I don't even watch those games. I don't look at them. They're meaningless. They're garbage. They are garbage, 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 garbage. Okay? Okay? We kept that speech short. I'm trying to keep this under 2.5 hours. So with all of that said, out of the way, all that shit out of the way, let's go ahead and get into the add-ons and then my stance on that. And we're going to go ahead and get started. Okay. We'll get there, We'll get there, Reaper. Evan, Reaper, what's up, guys? Okay. So my stance on add-ons is this, okay? Some people don't factor add-ons in at all. That's shit. That is absolute crap. Add-ons are used in every single fucking game. You can't just ignore them. You cannot just ignore the add-ons, okay? You can't do that. But at the same time, some add-ons like the tombstones on Myers are insanely dumb, and they change the game to a drastic enough point to where it's not even the same game anymore. Those are the ones we're not including, okay? Use common sense. Use common sense. If you're saying, what about this add-on, chances are it's not being included. Yeah, like if you're saying, oh, what about Mitrag Hag? Mitrag Hag is good, Rosie. Mitrag Hag is like A tier. A+ tier, S tier. Well, chances are we're not factoring Mitrag Hag in because it changes her too much. That's not Hag. When you're playing Mitrag Hag, you're playing Hag with a Freddy teleport. Okay, and that's not Hag. Alright, that's why we're not including that one. That doesn't mean every iridescent is getting kicked out. It just means that we're not choosing that. Okay? But like when we analyze Ghostface, for instance, and we place Ghostface, we're replacing Ghostface with his pen and his fucking his recovery add-ons. When we place Ghostface, we are placing him with chewed pen and the journal that changes the recovery. We're replacing him with that, and we're replacing him with an optimal build. We're also placing the characters with what I believe is their optimal builds. Okay? That varies from character to character, but we're replacing them with their optimal builds as well as what I think are their optimal add-ons. Basically, their optimal setups that don't break the character. Okay? Because ignoring add-ons is just such a ridiculous way to do these tier lists. It's ridiculous. It's dumb. Okay? So that's my stance on all that. So we got all my bitching out of the way. Only took about, what, 8.5 minutes to get all that done. Yeah. So, like, well, okay, ignoring all of that, ladies and gentlemen, we will start with the first tier, okay, which is the D tier. The D tier is back, ladies and gentlemen. The D tier is a character that 100% absolutely needs an either extreme heavy set of buffs or a full-on rework, and I think we all fucking know who I'm talking about. Okay? I think we all fucking know who I'm talking about. It's this fucking bitch right here. Trickster is without a doubt the worst character in this game. Okay? Trickster is fucking garbage. Okay? What is he? I have my notes right here. He is without a doubt the worst fucking character in the game. No fucking question is he the worst character in the game. Okay? So, he admittedly has some long distance pressure, which isn't like I mean, he has it, it's there. He can throw stuff at you from a distance. Main event can be good when it works. It is situational and it can work, and you have to know how to use it if you're gonna actually play him. The counterplay against him can be limited at some tiles, so he can get some hits and downs. Like, he can do all this. He can get it down, and sometimes he can get one pretty fast. And he doesn't have the worst camping game either. His camping game is not the worst. His camping game is one of his strongest attributes. Okay? And then he does have some okay matchups against some of the exhaustion perks, but like that's just not enough to like get rid of his crippling downside, okay? The crippling downside that this character has is that he has the absolute worst 1 versus 4 game in Dead by Daylight. Okay? The absolute worst. 110 with an extremely non-lethal ability. Okay? Extremely non-lethal. So it's like, yeah, some characters can have one bad 1 versus 4 games, like Slinger or Bubba, who's not very good. But like the difference between Slinger and Bubba is that their 1v1 game is absolutely fucking insane, whereas Trickster's just simply isn't. Trickster's 1v1 game is also bad. It's also bad. His early game is bad because he's 110 and he can't down, and one of the biggest problems with him is that I'm like rant on this character for a while, bro. One of his biggest problems is that he encourages tunnel vision. He has reverse synergy with the game. That's why he's in his own tier. Which if you've watched me play him before, you've heard me talk about this. He has reverse synergy with the game. Killer right now is very bounce around, very find the weak link as fast as possible, bounce around, spread your pressure out until you can get it down, and then you start committing to chases more as the game picks up. Okay? This character's power tells you not to do that. This character's power is telling you to tunnel one guy until you get a hit or get the down. Get the hit or get the down. That's what this character is telling you to do. Okay? So if you like but like that's just with the power. If you like get a hit on them with your basic attack, you just played every other killer on the roster. Like, he didn't help you do anything if you're basic attacking them. So it's like, yeah, he can like go up to people and like if there's 2 people there, he can like get 2 basic attacks and then get 2 injures. But it's like, who on the roster could not do that? You know what I'm saying? Who on the roster cannot go and get 2 injures when there's 2 people right there? If you try to use the power, you're not gonna even fucking get any fucking spread pressure. You won't even like get them. Like, he's bad against group survivors. Like, how many other killers in the game are bad against group survivors? Okay, I can think of one other killer that is like not great against survivors when they're grouped, and that killer has so many other fucking positive attributes that they're nowhere fucking near this bitch. And even again, they're not even bad against group survivors like he is. Like, they're just like, their power can be kind of negated, but like, that doesn't even hurt them. But them, you know who it is now. But yeah, he's just bad. He has a very, very disgusting reverse synergy with the game that puts him in the D tier, the F tier. He's in his own fucking tier. Major map dependence, since he's 110, and he gets knives. Like, he can have 8 knives, 7 knives on somebody, and you have the red thing. But if you lose the guy and you have to drop the chase, he is punished severely because all that work you just invested in starts ticking down, and that's ridiculous. It's just fucking ridiculous, bro. Bad hit economy. Wait a minute. Yeah, I'll probably update that at some point. Yeah, so yeah, he has a bad hit economy because of how bad healing is for him. If you heal against this character, it is extremely good for you because of how much he has to work to even get 1 fucking health state. He's horrible, bro. He's inconsistent. I would say he's add-on dependent, but his add-ons aren't even good. So, like, is he really even add-on dependent? Like, he's awful. He is by far the worst character in the game. No other character is as bad as he is right now. 0. If you play this character, you will lose to, like, survivors that are, like, half as good as you. Like, that's how bad he is. You will struggle to beat survivors half as good as you because of how fucking flawed he is and how slow. He's just so fucking bad. Okay, I think that's all I gotta say on him. I think that's all I had to say on this fucking catastrophe. Okay, guys, that's 1 tier down. The D tier is done. Now, so what we're gonna do as we keep take a quick break here. What we're gonna do is we keep steamrolling through these. Is once I get done with a specific tier, then we can like ask questions and do like a conversation thing. I'll start answering some of the comments as I bust through these. I'm probably not going to like answer the comments as much because I just want to I want to try to keep this under 2.5 hours. So I'm really gonna try to bust through it. After I get done with the tier, we can stop and have a break. And I actually brought a drink down. I'm just gonna take a fucking drink of it as we kept going. Keep my fucking sanity. So what's this thing called? Strawberry lemonade vodka, bro. Take that in between tiers, not counting Trickster. And I got a monster to help me stay awake through this because we've worked really hard on this today. I've been doing this pretty much all day, getting this all together for you guys. Okay, so done with fucking Trickster, bro. Ridiculous. Number 24. One of the worst characters in Dead by Daylight. One of the worst characters. The worst characters. Rosie, I'll be talking about twins for a while, bro. Alright, next. We're moving up to the C tier. Okay? Hey, we're done, bro. We're done on Trickster. We just did our rant. We're done with them. Number 23, ladies and gentlemen. We're starting into the C tier. And what the C tier means is that these characters will need buffs when the keystones are viable. That's what that means. When the keystones are viable, these characters will need buffs. Not necessarily a rework, just buffs. Just buffs. Okay? So we're starting at number 23, Trapper. We have Trapper at 23. Okay. So, Trapper has like 5 positive attributes and that's it. That's like literally it. He has potential instant downs, okay? That's not bad. The fact that he even has potential instant downs makes him not the worst character in the game. Okay? Like people but while we're doing these bottom 5, we're gonna explain why they're not worse than Trickster, okay? You guys want to hear me say Trickster is the worst character in the game. So, like, the reason he's not worse than Trickster is that he has better map control, he's 115, he has better 1 versus 4, and he has potential instant downs. Okay? And he has Hex defense. The fact that he has Hex defense gives him some synergy with Ruin, which means his Ruins will stay up just a bit longer. That can, like, help you and get over there and, you know, save your Hex. That's good, and that's good. That's good, and he can get the trap right back up. So like he can save his Hex again and again and again. His Hex defense is good. No killer with Hex defense is the worst character in the game. Sorry, because Hexes are that good. He also has Basement Trapper. The fact that he has massive snowball potential in the basement means he's not the worst character in the game. No character with that basement control is the worst. I mean, he sucks, don't get me wrong, he's inconsistent. Consistency is such a big part of playing Killer, and you're going to hear me say that a lot in this tier list. Consistency is such a big part of playing Killer. Okay? He can block off the good tiles, and then mind games with the setting, and then, like, he can hide his traps so the survivor doesn't even know that it's fucking there, and then he just gets fucking instant downs. He has his basement control is that good, okay? If you get a basement trap, if you get somebody in the basement as this character, you're securing at least 1 kill. That guy is dead. Somebody is dead. If you play, that's kind of scummy, so people won't like give him that credit ever. But if you get somebody in the basement, you're gonna at least tie that game, especially if you already have a decent amount of momentum. If you have any amount of momentum and then you get the basement, yeah, this character will not lose the game. So that's important. It's important to bring that up. He can also force hits if the traps are up. Just because he can't, like, just because the survivor doesn't go into the trap doesn't mean he doesn't get reward off of it. Like if they see it or something, he can still like hit you. Okay, he can still hit you. That's still not terrible. That's decent zoning. He's still not awful there. Okay, he's also not the worst camper in the world. Like sometimes he can get some pretty cheesy downs at hooks. Like put his trap near a gimmicky spot or something. Like he's not the worst camper in the game either. Camping is another attribute you're going to hear me talk about a lot in this video. You're going to hear me say that a lot. You're going to hear me talk about camping a lot. Because camping is actually probably the most underrated thing in the game right now. For real. Because everyone just calls you a fucking scumbag if you do it. And everyone says you're a piece of shit if you do it. That a lot of people just straight up won't do it. Camping is probably the most underrated thing on the Killer right now. So, yeah, so he's not the worst camper, okay? Okay, listen, and then another reason he's so bad, another reason he's so bad is that Dead Hard absolutely destroys him. That's another thing you're going to be hearing me say a lot in this video. Dead Hard is a fucking meta perk, and Trapper probably has the worst matchup against Dead Hard in the game. Because if you're at the shack, or you're at somewhere where your trap is, and the fucker Dead Hard's over it, the trap is now blocking you. That is very, very horrendous. That is fucking garbage. The power that you have now works against you. Because you placed a trap, and the guy dead-hearted over it. Even if you have to just cut around it, it takes so much of your time. There's no way that fucker's not making a pallet. The fact that his dead hard matchup is so bad is why he's the second worst in the game. He has a bad early game, which we definitely have talked about that. That's another thing you're going to be hearing me say a lot. He has a bad early game. If you have a bad early game, you better be extremely fucking lethal, and he's just not. Bad early game, so the gens are going to fucking fly. It's very easy to disarm traps and mess up his board. He's got bad 1 versus 4 and a bad 1v1. With no trap around, he's got a bad, If he's got no trap around, his 1v1's bad. So, yeah, he's got some problems. Swifts also stomp him, which, I mean, you'll hear Swifts stomp everybody, but, like, Swifts especially stomp him. He's inconsistent, he's outdated, he's bad against stealth, add-on dependent. He's got a lot of fucking problems. He's got, we can go in, but I think it's me beating a dead horse. The main one is definitely the early game, the add-on dependency, and the dead hard matchup. He's map dependent too. Some maps for him, like a Gideon Meat Plant or a Larry's, are just really fucking bad, and they accentuate everything about him that's bad. So, yeah, that's what we gotta say on him. He's just trash. He's not worth it either. 23. Still better than Trickster because of his better 1 versus 4 game and his potential instant downs at his basement control, but that's about it. He's better than Trickster because he has, like, a gimmick, and that's it. Okay. Okay, number 22, we have Daddy Myers. Myers is shit. Myers is absolute fucking dog shit. Just nah, well, that's not how we do things, Evan. We definitely have to fucking go with the Trickster. Okay, Myers is at what I say, 22. Okay, the reason that Myers is not worse than Trickster. Okay, the reason why Trickster is the worst character in the game, the reason that Myers is not worse than Trickster is that Myers has instant downs. Okay, Myers does have instant downs. Okay, he has a better dead hard matchup because he has the instant downs. His camping game is not terrible because he can come up right behind you and proc you with tier 3 when someone's on the hook. He can do that. It's inconsistent, but he can do it. He's also decent at dead zones, which is something Trickster and Trapper cannot claim. He's good at dead zones. He has some decent slugging, which is the first time you're going to hear me say that. Decent slugging. He's got a variety in builds and playstyles. He's a very versatile character. It's just a shame that he's so bad, so that versatility can't get put to good use. But he has it. He is versatile. He also has a low terror radius, 16 meters. 8 with Monitor and Abuse, but Monitor's not a good perk. Very overrated. But yeah, he's got some snowball potential. He can stomp pubs. Like, he can stomp pubs. He can do that. He can look a lot better than he actually is if you're playing against garbage. For real. We talked about the exhaustion perks still cucking. That goes with the other ones. That goes with the other characters too. Trapper. The other exhaustion perks are still good against him. The exhaustion perks are cuck Myers. Tier 1 is the reason he's here. If he started the match in tier 2, he would probably be a B- character. He would be a B-, probably about where Ghostface is. Like if he started the match in tier 2. But because he's in tier 1, it knocks him down a whole fucking tier. Tier 1 is really fucking trash. If you're playing against pubs, you can get out of tier 1 in like 30 seconds. Like, for real. If you're playing against garbage players, tier 1's not a problem. It's when you're playing against the Swifts and you're playing against people that are good. That's when tier 1's a problem. Okay? Like you're never gonna like see tier 1 being a problem until you're playing somebody good. Once you play good players, they will trap you in tier 1 for a lot of the match. He will. That's just absolutely true. And then another thing, tier 3 is weak. The initial proc is good, but after the initial proc, it's just drop the pallet city. You just drop the pallets and then he has to kick them because he has no chase. He has no chase. Having a low tear radius is not having a chase. That's not a power in chase. Any good survivor can deal with that. Any good survivor can deal with that. Aside from the initial proc, tier 3 is garbage. Gens are going to fly, even when he's played well. That's another thing that goes with like everybody in this tier and Trickster below him. Even when these characters are played well, they have bad gen defense, so they're gonna lose gens because of how bad his early game is. He also doesn't have bad. His map pressure is also bad, especially at the beginning. 105 is really bad. He's forced to kick a lot of tiles. He's map dependent, of course. He's also countered by spreading out. If you spread out, his tier 3 is even weaker, which is not something you want to hear when your power is already bad. He has the Legion problem. But if they spread out, he can't really get a lot. He can't really get a lot of downs. He's gonna be forced to take early hooks on tier 3s, which is not good because he wants to get the most value out of that he possibly can. If you initially proc somebody and then hook them, that's waste, unless they're like dead and there's 3 of them or something, I guess, and you've won already. He also is the running out of stock is still a big problem. That's a super outdated mechanic that has to go. He's inconsistent. What are we trying to say here? There's one more thing we're trying to say. Sprint burst is really good against him. He's punished hard for dropping chase. God pallets, yeah. Just strong, not even God pallets, just strong pallets. Dropping chase, this is something I want to talk about on Myers specifically, as well as some of the other characters. And this applies to the other bad characters as well, but on Myers, it's like where I want to bring it up first. Okay, dropping chase. Okay, like when you're chasing somebody and they're really good. Okay, and you know that. A lot of times you get hit with the argument drop chase. Okay, and honestly, drop chase is probably the best play when they're really good and you know you can't get them. Drop chase, but dropping chase is not good, ladies and gentlemen. Dropping chase is simply necessary. Okay, dropping the chase is simply necessary. Okay, it's still a punish. If you have to drop a chase and then go look for they go back to patrolling, that is a punish. It might not be a big punish depending on which character you're playing, but it is still a punish. It is still a punish. You did not get the down, you've wasted your time. That is a punish. Especially on killer, where gens can be done in 4 minutes. Like, that is still a punish. If you even drop one chase, the game's probably over if they're actually good. Okay? Now, he can, like, drop chase and then go proc tier 3 on somebody. He can do that. So, like, he can, like, go get some net benefits somewhere else, maybe in some situations. But dropping chase on him especially is really bad. Because, okay, well, Trickster as well. But, like, Trapper can at least go, like, set a trap or something and try to get some of that time back later. But, like, he and Trickster, dropping chase is, like, super fucking bad. It really kills him. So, yeah, I think that's everything on him. He's better than Trickster because, he's just a better overall at the 1 versus. He's better at the 1 versus 4. He's got above average 1 versus 4 in tier 2 and up. He's got the good at the dead zones, and he's got the camp dirt and the insta proc tier 3s, which means he's definitely not the worst character in the game. But that's still not enough to get him out of bottom 5. Not even close. Okay. Next, number 21, I have a Pig. We have Pig at 21. Okay. Pig, some positive stuff. She has her ambush, which is not too bad when you can use it right. It's not good, but like it's not awful either. It's okay. She's got some stealth. Her stealth game is a bit underrated because people just go, lol, it's the box. I know I'm playing against a Pig. But like, yeah, you know you're playing against Pig, but you don't know where she is. So like she can still sneak up on you, especially like good ones. The character can still sneak up on you, even though there's boxes around that she can still sneak up on you. She gets a little too much shit, and her stealth isn't like looked at enough. She's better than Trickster because of that. She forces survivors to go to specific places. That is a very underlooked attribute on her. The fact that there are 4 boxes around the map after she gets it down that the survivors have to go to, those boxes are like definitely an underrated attribute on her. So even that they have to go there. They have to go there, so you can go check them. There are like 4 more places that could potentially be survivors. And those survivors, ladies and gentlemen, are the weakest ones in the map. Because they got those traps on them. They're the weakest ones in the game. Okay? So like you say, don't tunnel them. Yes, you really shouldn't be tunneling them. But you also shouldn't ignore them either. Just because they have a trap on their head doesn't mean you shouldn't go after them. Sometimes going after those people can like win you games. Like, that can win you games sometimes. And then we definitely went over that. She forces survivors to specific. She's got some mind games with the crouch and uncrouch that aren't too bad. She's got an above average 1 versus 4 game because of her traps too. Dropping chase can be an okay play on her. Because you know the traps can make up some of that time. She can be adaptable, and she's got decent variety in builds, and she has some comeback potential. Okay. And then here's the thing about her, okay? This is where we're going to transition into the RNG stuff, okay? But we'll talk about the RNG, and then we'll talk about her biggest fucking problem. Because her biggest problem is not her RNG. And I'll talk about why. Sometimes, ladies and gentlemen, this character just wins. It's true. Whenever people highlight her RNG, the first thing that they always say is how bad it is. Like, lol, they got the trap off first thing. I'm inclined to do it, you're inclined to do it, everybody's inclined to do it. However, there are matches, you know the ones, where sometimes someone will just be dead, and their head pops. And sometimes the character just won. Like, you just had a tampered timer on, and then you just won. Like, sometimes the character's RNG mechanic just makes you win a game. Sometimes she just wins. She can just win sometimes. You know that. If she gets, like, a match where, like, everybody has to go to all 4 boxes all 4 times, like she just became, like, a B+ keystone character, if that happens. Or, like, even higher. Some people say if the RNG's in her favor, she gets even better than B. She becomes, like, an A tier. No character that has the potential to just become A tier is the worst character in the game. Uh-oh. Don't give him spoilers, Reaper. We'll give them spoilers, but let's flip it to the other end of the coin now. Sometimes she also just loses. Like, sometimes her RNG is just as bad. Like, yeah, you can't just say it's not bad sometimes. It certainly is bad sometimes. She is the queen of inconsistency in Dead by Daylight. If you gave this game a king/queen of inconsistency, it goes to her. You cannot be good at this character. The survivors cannot be good against this character. Okay? I mean, you can be good in chase against her, like, sure, but, like, she's basic M1 killer with like a big lunge sometimes. That's all she is in chase. Her actual mechanic in the reverse bear traps, you can't get good with them, and they can't be good against them. It's just RNG, bro. So, her ambush is impossible to hit at certain tiles, and this goes into her biggest problem. Because it's not the it's not the RNG of the traps. It's not. Because technically, ladies and gentlemen, if you put a trap on them and then hook them, that's better hook economy than every other character in the game. Because the hook you just got means more. The down means more because you got the trap on them. Even if they have to go to a box and then they get it right away, that's still more than Clown gets when he hooks somebody. So technically, it's still better. The reason, if you saw Reaper's comment, you know, the problem is she can't down you. Her ambush is trash in like a lot of tiles. She's basic M1 killer. By the time she gets it down, there should be like 3-4 gens already done. And so her power is negated just by that. Because the next time you down someone, pretend 3 gens get done on your first down. The next time you down someone, there's going to be another one done. And then all of a sudden, if you have Last Will, which is one of her best add-ons, you have 3 bear traps left, there's 1 gen left, and you're not using them because you can't down anybody. Because the survivors are good, and they're not stupid. Thasner's here. What's up, my guy? So the survivors aren't fucking stupid. So like her problem is she can't down you. If her ambush was buffed, if you gave her videotape base, she'd be a lot better. Not even the crouch one, just the ambush. Just her videotape. You give that to her base, she gets a little better. Increase the distance of her fucking ambush too. How many times you just like almost get them? Her ambush also should, like, if she gets stunned out of her ambush, it should build up a charge to automatically break a pallet. Change my fucking mind. Like, she should get a buff to her chase. If she had a buff to her chase, she would get out of the bottom 5. Because her bear traps are not why she's bottom 5. Her bear traps are probably the best thing about her. Facts. So, I think we covered everything on her. She's not as bad as Trickster because she has a built-in comeback mechanic in the traps. One down could potentially like get you a lot of value. And her 1 versus 4 game is better because Trickster's is the worst in Dead by Daylight, as we've said. And she's got variety and she's got stealth. She has shit, and if they just expanded on her, she could be pretty good. She could be neat. She's never gonna be meta because of her RNG mechanic, but like she could be fun. She'd be a lot more fun than she is right now. I can definitely confirm that. She could be a lot more fun than she is right now. Cause it's like when you go play fucking Pig, it's like, well, why were you playing Pig? The most entertaining part about playing Pig is not in your fucking control. I mean, not every time. Like, her ambush shouldn't break pallets every fucking time. Just like if you get stunned out of one, it should like build up a charge. Get 2 charges, you break a pallet once. Like, that'd be cool. Yeah, her nerfed endgame kind of sucked. Endgame Pig can kind of be crazy. Now she just has no strategy anymore. You just got to get him on as soon as you can. So yeah, 21. 21 on Pig. Okay, and then the final character of the bottom 5. I thought long and hard about this, bro, because I said I didn't know. I said I didn't really know who the final character of bottom 5 was, so I thought long and hard about it. And I have come to the determination that it is Legion. Legion at 20. It is Legion. Legion is in the bottom 5. Okay. But, that being said, I'm still about to stick up for him, because you don't know how many fucking people say he's the worst character in the game. Yeah, Myers has already been mentioned, Ezra. We already took care of him. He is Myers number 22. Okay, we're gonna... Even though Legion... Even though he's still bottom 5, I'm still gonna stick up for him because he is not the worst character in the game. He's not the worst character in the game. Okay, so we're gonna highlight a lot of the character's positive attributes that a lot of people don't talk about. Okay, that's what we're gonna do. Okay, so basically, you are chasing Legion. You are getting chased by a Legion. Legion decides to Feral Frenzy. What do you do? That is my question. What do you do when Legion is chasing you in Frenzy? What do you do? What's the counterplay? There is none. You accept your fate. You're gonna get hit. If the Legion's good, you get hit. It's a guaranteed hit. If the Legion knows what they're doing, he's hitting you. Sorry, you just get hit. That first hit is absolutely free. The characters below him do not have free first hits. Do not have free first hits. He can... Yeah, you just get hit. He has a good 1 versus 4 game. Okay? His 1 versus 4 game is super underrated by everybody who talks about him. Okay? If you go, like, hit the guy with Frenzy, go ahead, go find the next guy. No. If you just, like, go up to them, hit him with Frenzy, immediately get out of Frenzy, get DS, because every time he cools down, he gets DS. Go into your cooldown, then chase one guy, you're gonna think he's terrible. That's not what you do with him. You have to bounce around, okay? Good 1 versus 4 game. He whacks the survivors, he whacks the first guy, your play is to immediately find somebody else, okay? And because we're assuming, like, close to optimal builds, I'm assuming duration add-on, okay? The people that say that LOL Legion can't chain his hits together if they're not grouped aren't running duration add-ons like ever. Sometimes even stacking them is good. If you have a duration add-on, you can get way farther than people like give him credit for. You can get way farther than people give him credit for. You can. And and like you can go like almost across the like half the map and you get another hit, and then start it back up again, and maybe go get a third guy. Okay, this is all happening early. The reason that his early game is underrated, as Reaper is saying in the bottom there, the reason his early game is underrated is because how the hell are you gonna know it's a Legion as soon as he walks in? Okay, all the character needs is 30 seconds. If he comes up and just hits you, okay, if he just comes up and hits you, okay, he could potentially have like 4 fucking injures in like the first 25-30 seconds from finding the initial survivor. Okay, if they got a group spawn, there's 2 and 2, he could potentially get all of you injured within the first like 40 seconds. Okay, that's something no one below him can do. No one below him has that good of a 1 versus 4 game. Okay, he is also good at finding specific survivors as well as decision making. Okay. Decision making is a stat in this game. I've talked about this before. Beta Nurse made a 50-minute response to that video and said it's not. It's about the player. It's the player, not the character. Okay, I'll go into that real fast too, because understanding that decision making is a stat, definitely is important to understanding why Legion is not the worst character in the game. Okay, different characters tell you to do different things. Okay. The character communicates something to you when you play them, what they want you to do as the player. What is the most optimal move for the character to make in that situation, okay? The character's communicating with you. For example, Trickster. When Trickster's throwing knives at the survivor, the meter's going up, and that you know that meter is going to decay. What is Trickster, the character, telling you to do? Stay on that one survivor. The character Trickster is telling you to do that, okay? So you as the player can choose to ignore him and just like hit people. You can ignore him, but that's not listening to you, the character. That's you as the player. Okay? Trickster, the character, is telling you to tunnel the guy, but that's why Trickster has reverse synergy with Dead by Daylight. Back to Legion, who has actual synergy with Dead by Daylight. Okay? Legion, ladies and gentlemen, if you find a survivor, frenzy them, you don't have any hook pressure on this guy. Okay? Legion, the character, looking at your game state, you have 2 survivors on death hook. You just frenzied a guy who has 1, okay? And then you have like another guy on 1 hook. Legion, the character, is telling you to immediately leave. That is not a player thing. That is not player. That's not player at all. The character wants you to do the optimal thing for them. The character is telling you to do that. The character is telling you to go to the guy with the killer instinct, because you have that with me. It's a stat on the character, not the player. Any brain-dead moron knows to go leave that. It's that the character is providing you with the necessary information to go do it. Okay? Because, like, yeah, you could, like, go ahead and, like, leave the guy as somebody else, like a Pyramid Head or a Shit Slinger, but you don't know where to go. The character's the one telling you where to go. You could, it's kind of a substat to tracking, if you will, okay? But because he has a frenzy, and it's like, oh, if you find the wrong survivor again, just go stab another. Just go look till the killer instinct goes off again. And with the button, he knows where everybody is at all times. So he's good at finding specific survivors, which means he can get kills. Okay? He can secure kills because he can find people. Okay? He has the best tracking out of every character in the bottom 5. He has the best tracking there. The best tracking, the best decision making. The best decision-making potential. He gives you enough information. He gives you the most information of every character in the bottom 5. A character that gives you as much information as the Legion does is not the worst character in the game. He's just not. Okay? He also counters Sprint Burst. The fact that a character that counters Sprint Burst is also not the worst character in the game, because Sprint Burst is a good perk. Okay? Lots of chases means you get some decent pressure. We already talked about the punishes. He's also consistent. He's not very inconsistent. That's another good thing about him. Okay? Now let's get to the problems. Okay? Let's get to his problems. If you come in, okay? If you walk in the match with Legion, okay? And let's say you run towards a survivor, okay? And I mean, you really shouldn't be doing this, but like, you miss a frenzy, okay? You miss one. Like, you missed your opening frenzy, or like the guy gets to a pallet and you overextend and he drops it on you or something. I mean, again, it's your mistake, but like, if you miss one frenzy, you lose the game. That's it. If you walk in the match and you miss that opening frenzy, you're done. He's Ripper. If anyone plays Identity 5. If Ripper walks in Identity 5 and he misses that first Foggy Blade, he just lost. So I think it's literally the same thing with Legion. If you walk in and you miss that first Frenzy, you're done. It's over. That's all you need. That's all you needed to lose the game right there. Because that cooldown, you have to like take the cooldown or like take, God forbid, the stun after you like didn't get hit by a pallet. And that's it. His power also cannot down, and that is a problem, because the fact that his power cannot down you means that you have to play as 115 killer to get downs. Any down you have with this killer is coming from 115, because his power can't do it. Okay? It was 115, and 115 is trash. 115 is not viable. 115 is garbage. So it's like, yeah, you got 4 survivors injured real fast, but like if the guy you inevitably have to chase and focus on, if they have dead hard and they're 115, you're 115, you now have no power and you have to down them in 2 hits. Okay, those deep wounds are long since cured and they're on gens. If you hit 4 guys, the first 2 have their deep wounds cleared, and then you have to go. Of course, you could just go bounce around, but like that's because you're weak and you can't like get people. No lethality. Dead Hard also single-handedly changes this character's tier. That's the reason he's bottom 5 Reaper. Dead Hard. If Dead Hard was not in this game, this character would be a keystone. He would be that good if Dead Hard wasn't in the game. If you play a squad with 4 Dead Hards, this character can't do anything, because his power basically doesn't exist, which I've covered before in my rankings of him. His power does not exist if 4 Dead Hards are in the game, because every survivor's 2 hits. Every survivor is still 2 hits, because of Dead Hard. Dead Hard single-handedly changes this character's tier placement. For real. Like, that's how good he would be, Reaper. If Dead Hard wasn't in the game, he would be a keystone. Absolutely. I'm looking at who's above him, and he would be better than all the characters above him, except until like Pyramid. He would like be as good as Pyramid without Dead Hard in the game. And I'm not even lying to you either. Dead Hard doesn't synergize with the game. Dead Hard changes the character's matchup. Dead Hard changes the whole meta of the game and what it takes to be a good killer. That's Dead Hard. It's all Dead Hard. Spreading out does hurt his power. That's also true. All the exhaustion perks kill him. All the exhaustion perks kill him. If you get to like just because he's 115, life will kill him. A balanced landing will be very annoying. Sprint burst, when they're injured, can get you. Because he has no, but it's still always Dead Hard though. It's still Dead Hard. It will always be Dead Hard. Until Dead Hard gets a rework, it is unlikely this character gets out of bottom 5. Fact. Mad facts tonight from Daddy Rosie, bro. It's a shame, because I like this character. This character is very underrated and very underappreciated. But he is not the worst character in the game. He has way too many positive attributes. And he's only in bottom 5 because of a perk that should be nerfed. If the perk that should be nerfed goes away, he goes up to at least B. At least top of B. Okay. So that's the C tier, ladies and gentlemen. Those 4 characters are the C tier. Those are the characters that will need buffs when the keystones are viable. Provided Dead Hard stays in, of course. How we all doing? I said we would slow down and do like questions and shit for like. I'll give you guys like 2 minutes to do questions. I'm gonna pour this shot. I'll give you until like 51 to ask questions. I'll give you like 2 minutes. If we don't have a question, we'll keep going. If you want to know where we are, it's Trickster 25, Trapper 24, no, Trickster 24, Trapper 23, Myers 22, Pig 21, Legion 20. Godzilla Singular Point is out. I've seen some of it, bro. I actually really like it. I'm really enjoying it so far. It kicks a lot of fucking ass. They don't bore you with the typical anime shit. They get into it right away. I'm really enjoying it so far. Alright, let me drink this and then we're gonna... Yeah, I'm really enjoying it. I'm really enjoying it. I have seen the trailer for Halloween Kills, so I'm looking forward to that too. Some people don't like it, which I was kind of shocked about. Because I like it. I liked it a bunch. Oh, Dasner, I said, where's that killer in Dead by Daylight? That's what I said when I saw that trailer. Where's that killer in Dead by Daylight? I wish he was in it. Okay, so it doesn't sound like we have any questions. I'm gonna go ahead and just drink this and we're gonna move on. Okay. So we're at 19 now, ladies and gentlemen. Now this was a last-minute move. Okay. This was a very, very last-minute decision. The last-minute decision was I was bouncing between two characters. Okay. I was bouncing between two characters. One of them should be obvious to somebody who knows me. And the other one is like a more common pick, okay? But what actually influenced me was I watched back a match that we had on my 400 sub Kill Your Friends. I'm sure Reaper knows the one I'm talking about. I have Plague at 19. I'm sorry, guys. This character sucks. I can't not do it to her. This character is so bad. I don't care how many people try to convince me she's good. She's just not. She's just not. There is no way that she is in... Some people have her in fucking A tier. Like, are you cracked? Like, what character are you playing? Like, for real. Are her hitboxes just, like, better on PC or something? Like, what character are you playing? That's what I want to know. What pubs are you stopping with this character? Because, again, she is a pub stomper. She is a pub stomper. She is. Okay? Nice job, Superior Rose. I like that. How to pull up the Plague Dazner? It's coming. It's my next project. I swear to God. It's my next project. I swear to God. So let's go into Plague, bruh. Let's go into the problems here. Okay. So let's go into why people think she's good. Okay. She can punish survivors, like if they're in a group. Like, she can go ahead and, if she finds two of them on a gen, she could potentially, like, puke on one and then chase another. That guy's puke will eventually become damage or a corruption. She can do that. Okay? And I played her, I played a match as her Reaper. This is why I put her in this spot, in this tier. When she is in Corrupt Purge, she can play a surprising amount of tiles. The match that showed me that, I had a match as her on Meat Plant, which I think that you should watch. It's not great. Like I believe my match I played her is called Plague has an admittedly impressive performance or something. I forget what the actual video was called. Something like that. She can actually play a lot of the tiles on the Meat Plant with Corrupt Purge. Like tiles you would not think she can play, she can play. That did help her get out of bottom 5. That one game did. Okay, because not a lot of killers can do what she did in that match, and I admit that there. Okay, but they definitely still had a lot of counterplay. Okay, she's kind of decent out in the open. If she finds somebody out in the open, she can like vile purge somebody and then down them. That's not horrible. That's not horrible, especially with a purple add-on. She has a projectile option. Again, that kind of makes her play first hit differently. Okay. She's got some okay map awareness. She can puke on something, and if somebody gets it, You know, like she has all that. Okay. She has an inability surveillance. That's, you know, we talked about that. She has an inability surveillance. Okay, like she has a few things. Okay, she has a few. I was really stretching here, bro. I was really stretching here. Okay, but okay, if you have like again, if you get group survivors when she has corruption, she can potentially get some downs. Like, okay, like she's not bad. Okay, like Q and everybody else is like positives about her for this spot. She can't snowball. She kind of can, decent out in the open. Like, but let's start getting to her fucking problems, okay? Because this is the shit about her that no one's talking about. This is the shit on her that, like, whenever you see her ranked in fucking A tier by bitches that don't know what they're doing, this is the stuff you don't see talked about, okay? This character right here, ladies and gentlemen, has the absolute worst late game in Dead by Daylight. Okay? The late game is supposed to be when killers are strongest. The late game is supposed to be when killers are the most powerful. Okay? The killers have the most control in the late game. And this character's late game is disgustingly bad. Horrible. The reason that it's so bad is that, for a ton of reasons, okay? So basically, how you play against this character is admittedly kind of complicated. This is why she can pub stomp, okay? Because if you get 4 solos that don't know what they're doing, they're not going to be able to do this. So you'll be able to get a lot of wins and feel like she's broke, okay? But when you're playing good players, this is what they're going to do to you, alright? They know that you have a hard time early getting downs because of Vile Purge not being very good, okay? She works slow early, which is another bad thing about her. Her early game kind of sucks, okay? And then everybody doesn't cleanse, okay? Everybody not cleansing is good. It's what you should be doing, okay? And then you as the survivor secure this little thing called Advantage State, okay? That's when she just loses, okay? She gets 1 hook. There's 3 gens done. Okay, she gets 1 hook. We'll give her that the guy is max broken. Okay, 3 gens are done. Somebody comes to save him. Another guy is now sick, and then the guy that she's chasing now gets sick. So now there's 3 people sick, and then magically she gets the other guy sick too. We'll give her 4 corruptions base. Okay, so she gets the 4 corruptions. Another gen pops, and then there's 2 gens left. Everybody's at 4 corruptions. Okay. She has 1 corrupt purge, okay? We'll give her the corrupt purge. She goes and gets, like, another guy. And so everyone's still broken at this point. There's 2 gens left now, okay? There's 2 gens now. There's 2 gens left. She's still chasing people. And then there's that 4th gen pops. So you can even start doing this to her on the 3 when there's 2 gens left. If you like can keep track of how the progress is. Then there's like 1 gen left, okay? There is no corruption in play. There's no corrupted fountain anywhere. You have 4 broken survivors, okay? These survivors that are good and that know where the gens are, okay? They are now going to walk over across the map and get a free fucking heal, okay? Do you know how bad that is? They're going to walk across the map away from the generators and go get a heal that takes about 10 seconds. That is horrendous, okay? That is very, very bad. So, they just gave you your power that's in their hands, and if you want it, you have to go all the way across the map and leave the generators. Yeah, go get it. Go get your power. When you come back, the gens are done. And then you have to, then you got Corrupt Purge, you have to waste like 20% of it walking back over to the generators, and yeah, then you can use it. So, the point is that these survivors are now going to start cleansing against you late game. Okay? Anybody that's good knows that cleansing isn't inherently bad. It's situational, and it's a late game situation. That's when you do it. That's when you fucking do it. The worst late game in Dead by Daylight. She loses so much pressure so fast when they cleanse that she has to then go over and get the Corrupt Purge for potential benefit. Corrupt Purge isn't necessarily benefit, it's potential benefit. It's not just get Corrupt Purge, win the game. It's get Corrupt Purge and then maybe win the game. And then you can start with a pallet. We're getting to the hitbox and stats, and we're definitely getting there. And then another problem is that is that she can like just lose all her pressure. Like another issue with her late game. Before we get into the pressure problem that she has, never got this part. Then once late game is procced and the gens are done, I'm not done with her late game yet. She has to tunnel one guy because as soon as she leaves the guy she's chasing that's sick during the late game, they're going right to a fountain and healing in 10 seconds. The fact that she has free 10-second heals on the map is completely ridiculous. If they want to really fix this character, they need to make cleansing take 16 seconds, as much as a full heal, so she doesn't lose that time. And even then, they still, because like full healing against like 2 health states takes a little bit. Yeah, her power can literally help the survivors influence her movements. That's another thing. Influence her movements, make her bounce over here, make her go over there, make her go over here. Okay? And she the hitbox issues. Here's what we're going to go into. Her hitboxes are broken. Sometimes you can hit somebody with Vile Purge and it just doesn't work. It just doesn't work. They'll go ah, and then they'll put their hands up, and then they just won't be sick. Can somebody explain that to me? I just charged up, and now I'm taking a massive cooldown to hit them with Vile Purge, and then they're not sick. What the hell is that? No A tier character has that problem, that their power doesn't work. Same thing for Corrupt Purge. You can blast a strand of puke at something, and then once the puke smacks something, the rest of it disappears. Go shoot it at a tree, and you'll see what I'm talking about. Go into a basic match and just shoot it at a tree. You'll see it like disappear. I know there's definitely hitboxes disappearing there. Her hitboxes are broken. Her hitboxes are definitely fucking broken. Ridiculous. She's absolutely fucking ridiculous. Okay? She's add-on dependent. She's got to bring at least one infection add-on every match. I also run the purple one. That's right, bruh. I'll play Dead by Daylight for you. Oh, win the game twice. Okay, so basically, pretend Plague has advantage state. Okay, this is another thing. Pretend you have advantage state as the Plague. Okay? You're winning the game. Alright? Then the survivors cleanse. Alright? They go cleanse. Everybody was broken. Everybody was injured. And then they decided to go over and start cleansing. Okay? Your power just horribly hurt you. Your power just horribly hurt you. Because you've already won the game. And now they're back in it. Because there's 4 cleanses. Okay? Do you understand what I'm saying to you? Like, you have 3 downs when there's 4 gens left. And you had everybody injured. And now all of a sudden, there's no injures. And there's 4 corrupted fountains. Which, yeah, you have 4 corrupted fountains. Now you can go win the game again. You already won the game. But now you have to go win it again. You have to win twice. She is the only character in the game that has to win twice. Even when she's winning, she is not winning. She is not winning until the corrupt purges start coming, because that's just how she is. If you want to fix this character, this is how to buff Plague come early. How to buff this character is to let her ingest corruption from someone on the fucking hook. That is the biggest buff she needs. Until she can do that, she doesn't make sense. This character is bad. And I will die on this hill. I'm sorry, Jay. I'm sure you're watching this. I know you think she's good. This is something you and I can have a 2-hour conversation about. This character sucks. This character is filth. And I will forever die on this hill. If somebody is ranking them in A tier, they definitely just pub stomped somebody with her and thought she was broken. She needs a massive adjustment. Okay? And it's like, bro, Rosie, you're giving her so much shit, but you ranked her above Legion, who you talked a whole bunch of stuff, good things about. Well, yeah, that's because I don't need to kiss this character's ass. Everybody else is. Everybody else kisses this character's ass, and they don't bring up the problems with her. There is undeniable problems with her, that even when I was on Jay's podcast and I said the exact same thing, no one had any fucking thing to say about it. Do you know why they had nothing to say about it? Because they couldn't do it. They had nothing to say. Because Plague sucks. And there is nothing that you can say that disproves what I said because I'm absolutely fucking right. And she's garbage. Mad fucking facts tonight. Give me my monster, bro. Sorry, J-Man, she sucks. Okay. Next. And you might be wondering, now, so here's the part where it's really going to set in how bad I think Plague is. Because, like, even after all that, you might not have seen it yet. Like, how bad does he think the Plague is? Well, here's how bad I think the Plague is. Number 18 is Clown. We didn't rank Clown yet, ladies and gentlemen. I don't know if anyone's forgot. I think Clown is better than Plague. Abso-fucking-lutely. Abso-fucking-lutely. Okay. The first thing we need to talk about with Clown is the elephant in the room, and that's his rework, okay? Clown's rework, I will be the very first one to say it. His rework sucked. His rework was very, very, very disappointing. And the reason that his rework was so disappointing, and I'll say it again here, the reason that his rework was very disappointing is that the other reworks were Freddy. The other reworks that were buffs were Freddy, Bubba, and Doctor. And you know that all three of those reworks took their characters that were bad and shot them into the A tier. All three of them did. So I wanted Clown to get the same treatment. I wanted Clown to go up to A tier. I wanted Clown to go up the A tier, and he didn't. So I was very disappointed with the rework. But that being said, ignoring my disappointment, I begrudgingly sat down and I played a lot of this character, okay? And as I continued to play it, I slowly began to enjoy it more and more. This character's buff was not horrible, okay? It was very disappointing because he's not A tier. That's why it was disappointing to me. However, it was not, the buff was not horrible, okay? When you play bad characters, you have to know everything about them. You have to know every tool at their disposal, okay? That's why when Scott Young goes, the buff is nothing, you should laugh at him. The buff was not nothing. Invigorated is better than the other bottles. The character could debatably just be invigorated, and for the most part now he is. For the most part he is. You should be invigorating yourself 95% of the time, and throwing the pink bottles are supplementary now. The pink bottles are supplementary. Your main power is now invigorated. This character has completely changed. This character is completely different than he was the last time we were here and we ranked him as, I believe, the worst character in the game. He is completely different. Okay? So let's talk about what he does. His 1v1 is now better. Okay? The invigorated adds to the lethality and the map pressure. Okay? He can still stop tile transitions, force mind game swings. Ugh. All that stuff is still there. Okay? He can still get some quick pallet drops, which is only good in advantage. And disadvantage, that's still bad. Invigorated bottles are less specific. This is why they're better. Okay? If you have to throw the pink one, you have to hit the survivor. Okay? When you throw invigorated, you don't have to hit the survivor. All you have to do is run into it. So you can, like, throw it over the tile, rotate around, set yourself up into invigorated, have the aura reveal add-on, force a pallet drop early. You know, there's a lot of stuff he can do. And also, Clown can use a combination of invigorated and his pink bottles to potentially down you at a lot of tiles that he couldn't before, i.e. Killer Shack. There is a lot of potential to mind game the Killer Shack with the Clown now. Throw a pink bottle, throw a yellow bottle first, and then a pink one to invigorate yourself, push them into the pink one, and then you can probably down them, unless they have, like, Dead Hard or something. There is a lot you can do if they try to tight kite you. This character can eat tight kiting alive now, no matter where you are. Especially with that aura reveal add-on so they can see what you're doing. That's another thing. His add-on kit is actually not bad. Compared to some of the other killers, he has a very decent add-on kit that he can run multiple things. Obviously, we're not including the damn pinky because the pinky's bullshit. But he's not too bad. He can like kind of stop some tile transitions with those pink ones. Kind of gets forced some slow vaults and all that fun shit. And then if he's winning already, I mean, this is kind of win more, so it's not the most necessary thing. But like again, if he's winning and they're very wasteful with those pallets, he can just kick them and not have to worry about it. Okay, he's consistent. Invigorated helped him. Okay, it didn't help him a lot. Okay, basically he got shot and then they gave him a band-aid. You know, they technically helped. It technically helped him, just not a lot. Okay, what's bad about him is that he's still susceptible to the same counterplay. That's why he's not really a full rework. Or pre-drops still kind of Shrek him. But yeah, we just talked about how that can be okay if you're winning. But if you're not winning and they're just dropping pallets on you early game, you're still like fucking losing. Okay? He lost his exhaustion add-on, so the exhaustion perks now cuck him, especially Dead Hard. Dead Hard now like eats him alive. The reason why Dead Hard is so good against him is because Dead Hard allows for tight kites against him. This character's whole thing is that he should not get tight kited, and Dead Hard allows you to tight kite him. That's why it's good. Jens can still fly. He has bad map pressure. Even though, okay, but it's like, okay, technically he doesn't even have, technically his map pressure is above average because of Invigorated. Technically it is. It's above average. He's moving 125 when he's Invigorated. It's technically above average. It's just still bad. It's still not good. It's technically above average, but it's just still bad. It's just still bad. What else? What else on him that's bad? He's reloading more now in a match. That's bad. Like, yeah, they nerfed, they got rid of, like, his reload time. Like, they shaved 2 seconds off of his reload time. That doesn't help him because he's reloading more now. Since Invigorated is what's helping you move, you need to be using Invigorated bottles all the time. So you have to be Invigorated, you have to be reloading all the fucking time. The 2 bottle add-on doesn't even help you very much. You're still reloading more often in a match than you were before. That's trash. That's really, really bad. They need to either give him like 10 bottles or get rid of his reload mechanic altogether. His reload mechanic isn't really needed. Doctor doesn't have it, and Doctor's better. Doctor doesn't have a fucking shock therapy reload, and Doctor's shock therapy is better than his bottles. Yeah, we talked about that. His exhaustion add-ons are gone, so he gets cucked by Dead Hard, and Dead Hard allows for tight kites. The ability to go 10% faster does not make up for his kind of slow downs. He's still not fast enough to like get reward from his downs. Okay? He's still like bad. But like his buff helped him enough to get him out of the fucking C tier. He's a B tier character now. I'm sure Lars will be happy with this placement because I think I probably have Clown higher than anybody else does in the entire community. There's 24 characters in this game. We have him at, what, 18? That's probably higher than anybody else has him. I like this character. I work with him a lot. I think he is slightly underrated. Invigorated was not the change we wanted, but it's the change we got. You have to work with it. If you want to see that he's a little bit better now, you have to like sit down and work with it. It's not something you like get good at right away, because you have to like, especially at those combination tiles. But like, it can be done. So Clown at 18. He also has kind of a gimmicky mind game where you can like reload and chase and like see if you can bait a transition. That's kind of cute. That's kind of cute. Okay. So that's Clown at 18. 17. This was another one we kind of like had. We were discussing what we should even. I was thinking about what I should do with it, but I went ahead and threw the. I threw the dog a bone, ladies and gentlemen. I gave Demogorgon the rub. Demogorgon at 17. I gave Demo a rub. If y'all know me, you know I don't like this character, but I gave him a rub over a character I do like. Okay. He has teleportation, which is good. He's got better map pressure than Clown does. He does have that. His shred can help play tiles like Shack and Jungle Gyms a bit better, I guess. Like, it's alright. He's got Killer Instinct. He's got the shred baiting. Like, all that shit's okay. He's got all of it. He's technically, if you want to know the truth, he's technically almost unbeatable if you have two gens by the far. If you have two portals by each of the final gens, he's technically almost unbeatable if you do that. Especially if your ruin's still in the game. He's technically like almost unbeatable if you do that. If you can get that set up. He's got some decent perk synergy, saving best for last. Save the best for last being the best one. He's also like consistent. He's consistently bad, but he's consistent. He's not like he gets to a tile and he's like significantly worse than he is at another one like Huntress and shit. He's alright. Okay. He is okay. He's got above average 1 versus 4. He's got an above average late game. He's okay. He can break pallets decently fast. He can do that. Now we're getting to his problems, bro. We're getting why he's down here because again, this is another character where people like have him in A tier. Like he's okay. He's got a good iridescent, which I'm considering, which I'm factoring in this placement. Leprous Lichen, yeah. Like, and Leprous Lichen is what I'm using and like is being rated in this placement. Okay, so let's go into his problems now because he's got the killer instincts. Okay, he's got some tracking and some decision making. Okay, bad early game. That's the very first thing. When you have a bad early game, you have to be broken. I'm gonna go ahead and just say that. If you have a bad early game, your power needs to be Hag Oni levels of good. Is he as good as the Hag? Nope. Is he as good as Oni? Nope. So we can't have a bad early game. It's that fucking simple. He has to set up the portals. Let's think about Freddy, who is the like Freddy and him have a similarity. Is in like this character likes to go hook and then teleport, like Freddy does. Okay, how does Freddy teleport? Does Freddy have to set it up? No. Can Freddy's teleport be messed with by survivors? No, it can't. This character's teleportation can be messed with by survivors. That's bad. It's bad. It's bad. He can be baited away from key positions by his own power. That's really bad. That's Plague problems. That's why he and Plague were so low on my last tier list. Any killer that can be baited away by their own power is bad. The power should be constantly working with you to get downs, not distracting you to go set things up. Unless, of course, your name is Hag, who is the only character that breaks that rule. Because Hag can win in 2 minutes if her web's set up. So it's worth the setup. And Hag likes to usually set up her web better when there's somebody hooked. So she's kind of already in advantage. Okay? He can zone okay. I forgot to mention that. He can zone alright. Shred is overall a bad power. Okay? I don't care how many times you tell me it can be used well here, it can be used well here, it can be used okay here. The power is overall bad. There is way too much counterplay to this power. Okay? There's way too much 1v1 counterplay to the Demogorgon. Because he's only bad because of that. If 115 was viable and he could like get consistent downs, he would probably shoot up to the A tier. He probably would. That's why people probably think he's A tier. Because they're going in and playing pubs where they're getting downs real fast, and then they're going and being able to like use his A tier design of the portals. At high MMR, this character can't get downs, and since he can't get downs, then because what happens? Here's what's going to happen. If you are playing good survivors as the Demogorgon, here's what your match will look like. You will not be able. You will struggle to get downs. That's the first thing. You will struggle to get downs. You'll have like 2 or 3 hooks going into the late game. Then you'll have portals. Okay, you'll have portals by your gens. You will then be bouncing back and forth trying to find somebody weak, and you won't be able to find somebody weak. You will be bouncing back between portal to portal to portal to find somebody that you can actually down. Because what's going to happen is you're going to bounce, you're going to go through a portal, get the survivor that's right there, they're going to loop you, you're going to go fuck this, you're going to leave, you're going to go to the portal, go back to the other gen that's far away, pop on out, go chase the next guy who's going to loop you endlessly, go, oh, can't get this guy because they know how to counterplay my power. That's what this character is at high level. He's bounce around and realize you can't down anybody to character. That's what he is. His power is way too punishable. If he misses a shred, he goes flying and he loses line of sight. That is ridiculous. And it's like, well, don't miss the shred, bruh. Don't miss the shred. Oh, okay. Does Pyramid Head have that problem? Does Pyramid Head lose line of sight if he misses a punishment? No. Does Nemesis lose line of sight if he misses a tentacle? No. Hell, does Plague lose line of sight if she misses a Vile Purge? No. So it's like, yeah, you could say don't miss it, but like, the other characters don't get punished as hard for missing their stuff. That's a part of it. Also, this character's power, this is another reason he's garbage. His power is countered by the natural progression of Dead by Daylight. If you have survivors that know what they're doing, they will be hitting the gens with your portals next to them. That is, they won't do the portal. They will do the gen, but not the portal. Okay? But then now you could say, oh, Rosie, just what is it? This one? Oh wait, no, it's not even that. It's you should just run Rotten Pumpkin, man. Just run Rotten Pumpkin. Rotten Pumpkin isn't good. Rotten Pumpkin's not good. It doesn't even help because Rotten Pumpkin doesn't help you win. It's just that, like that's not the reason you're losing. When they do the gens and leave the portal by it, that's not the reason you're losing. That's why Rotten Pumpkin doesn't help you. Just run Rotten Pumpkin, Rosie. Fuck you. This add-on's trash. Okay? It's cute on paper, but it's bad. Okay? When we play Demogorgon, we are assuming Lycan. You entered with a voice. That's kind of funny. Your very first impression ever. But yeah, so like you could say that, and then you go. But so that no other character except maybe Plague is countered by the natural progression of Dead by Daylight, where your portals just get left there and you have like 1 or 2 left going into the late game. Okay, that's bad. No other character in the game can say that. No other character in the game can say that. It's just Demo. He also is beaten by the exhaustion perks. Special mention again, go to Sprint Burst and Dead Hard, the 2 best. They will save you so much, they will give you so much grief as you play this character. Dead Hard into drop the pallet, Shred just completely missed, hits the pallet. Like it's very, very stupid. It's very, very stupid. The character is weak, and he needs buffs. More buffs. He needs more buffs. I have a nice video about how to buff him. And I completely reworked his add-on kit. It was very nice. That video is something I'm very proud of. The how to buff demo video. You really want to buff this character, give him something good, make him something like this character. I feel like people just lie to themselves. Oh, Bard's glasses, bruh. This add-on sucks. Okay, this add-on is fucking garbage, for real. The tiles in this game are slammed in each other's ass cracks. What is 15% gonna breaking a pallet gonna do? Stop a transition? Get fucking real, kid. This add-on sucks. Okay, you're better off running fucking rat liver still, for real. It sucks. There's demo for you, bro. Bad character. Okay. Okay, next. Let's get away from demo. I'll give him a little shorter entry this time. I don't think we're going to meet our goal. I think we're going to go above 2.5 hours. The next character that we're going to rank is number 16. Ghostface. Talk about a fall from grace, bro. I used to have this guy in like top 10, top 5. I think I had him in top 5 at one point. I think I had him at number 4 when he came out. Talk about a fall from grace, bro. Okay. This character's not good. I thought he was good like a few months ago. Then I ran into a Swift. A group I beat, by the way, but I definitely hard carried him. I definitely hard carried him when I ran into that Swift. You guys know the game I'm talking about. The one was like, that was like almost 30 minutes. Yeah, that one. On, what's it called? Oni's map. Sanctum of Wrath. We played that match was like 30 fucking minutes, and I definitely hard carried the character. It was definitely not him that helped me win. I thought it was in the moment, but on reflection, no, I definitely hard carried him. Okay, so let's go over some of his positive attributes, okay? He's undetectable, that's not too bad. Survivors kind of have to work for their information on him, that's not too bad. He gets some free hits because he's undetectable, that's again not too bad. He's got an above average 1 versus 4 game when he's undetectable and they don't have info. And when they have info on him, he's average. He has some gimmick instant downs with a stalk that are not very consistent and unreliable. He has a broken reveal mechanic. His reveal mechanic just doesn't work. It's insanely busted. All you survivors will know what I'm talking about. His reveal mechanic is stupid. It like doesn't work. He just doesn't work. Yeah, we're gonna get to that. His reveal mechanic is like broken, and you can like take advantage of that sometimes. Basically, he plays like the Wraith. He plays like Wraith does, okay? But like, here's the thing, because like if you play him without stalking, you're playing him like Wraith, okay? So you have to ask yourself, what am I playing Ghostface for over the Wraith? What does he have over the Wraith, okay? Well, he can just hit you instead of like having to do the bell, which admittedly is okay because like it helps him like be less reactable for dead hard. One of Wraith's biggest issues is dead hard, but we'll get there. His playstyle allows him to bounce around and pick the right chase. He can do that, but like he does have some exhaustion per counterplay, some snowball potential. But like that's it, bruh. Niche dead hard counter does not make you better than Wraith because of Wraith's other positive attributes. Okay, now Wraith used to be significantly worse. So like Wraith used to like not be as good as him, if anybody remembers, because Wraith was like just not very good back in the day when he could like didn't have windstorm base, he wasn't invisible, you could spot him from far away, he just couldn't stealth very well. Like Wraith had some problems back in the day, but Wraith doesn't have those problems anymore. Okay, but let's talk about his recent nerf that killed him really bad. Okay, you're like, but Rosie, Ghostface didn't get a nerf. What are you talking about? Oh yeah, he did. Yeah, he did. Sure he did. Borrow time. This character's one of his best attributes was being able to go to a rescue, intercept it, pop is undetectable, get a free slug right away. That used to be one of the best things about him. That's why he was Keystone. Back when I said he was Keystone. The fact that he was able to do that. The fact that he now takes borrowed time in the ass is insanely bad. It kills him. The fact he takes borrowed time in the ass is insanely bad. Borrowed time buff ruined this guy. Like, it ruined him. Like, it didn't even ruin characters like a character like Pig, who has undetectable too. Because Pig has undetectable too, but Pig has other attributes. So like Pig didn't really change very much, because that's not what you played her for. You could like do it, but like this character's best attributes was the best. The best thing about him was the most reliable, fastest, quickest borrowed time punish in Dead by Daylight. He had that. Lest me forget. He had the quickest borrowed time punish in Dead by Daylight. That's why it was Keystone. Okay, and Freddy, I guess, when they were sleeping. But the fact that he lost his borrowed time counter definitely shot him down an entire tier, because now he can't do that. Now he takes borrowed time in the dick just like everybody else does. Okay, and in a character that has bad map pressure, because like Wraith has been able to adapt and get past that. Wraith doesn't really even need that anymore. Ghostface still needs it. Because like yeah, it happens to Wraith now too, but the problem is that was carrying Ghostface. The borrow time counter was carrying Ghostface miles. It was carrying him. It was carrying Ghostface in a little fucking baby Jesus manger, dude. Like, it was fucking carrying him. That's why he used to be good. He's not good anymore because he doesn't have that. Okay? That's why he's not good no more. Oh my goodness, there's a fucking moth down here, bro. What else do we got here? He's punished hard for dropping chase. Okay. The difference between this character and the Wraith is that the Wraith can, like, decide to drop a chase and then move it, like, what, 150, 165, something like that, and he bounces around, and then he can, like, get into another chase significantly faster than Ghostface can. When this character drops chase, he has to patrol again at 115. Sometimes with the terror radius. Not even stealthy, waiting for his power to come back. That's bad. Right there, that's also bad. And if he commits to a if he commits to a chase, the exhaustion perks cook him. So they can't really commit to a chase either because he has no chase. He doesn't have a chase. He can kind of like proc his ability and then hide his red glow, but like if you just mind game right, you hide his red glow anyway. So do you really need that? No. So he's bad map pressure, and then since he's slower than Wraith, another problem that he has is that he's slower than Wraith, so he punishes heals less consistently than the Wraith does. If you're playing Ghostface or Wraith, it is safer to pop a heal against Ghostface than it is against Wraith. Okay? Because of that. Because it's like, okay, Ghostface is moving at 115, the Wraith is moving at 160. Who is it more dangerous to heal against? Wraith. It's more dangerous to heal against the Wraith because of that. So he is not as good at Wraith at running his own build. So there's no reason to play him. He needs a rework. I think Reaper would like to hear that. He needs a rework because he has no quality that Wraith doesn't have. He is literally worse at everything in the game than the Wraith. So, like, if you want to play him specifically, you have to stalk. Like, if you're playing him for him specifically, you have to stalk. That's what I've come to the determination of. Because there's nothing he can do that Wraith can't besides that. And that ability isn't good. So, I'm of the opinion now that Ghostface needs a rework. I don't know what they do to him, but he needs a rework. Alright, I think that's all we gotta say on him. 16, Ghostface. Alright, 15. This is the top character of B tier. Who is, I don't think we said this yet. These are the characters that are below Keystone. You kind of have some argument to, like, make them Keystone, but, like, they're still below the Keystone characters. Number 15 is, Billy. Hillbilly at number 15. Okay, so what does Hillbilly do? He's got semi-reliable instant down. That's the first thing. It's semi-reliable. Okay? He's got some okay map traversal and movement. Used to be a lot better. It's like semi now. It's alright. He can still feather, which is okay. He still has that. He can still feather. He still has the early curve, which is still good. Like, he still has all this. He still has all that stuff. But what he lost was Insta-Saw. The thing that made him top 3. The thing that made him top 3 was always Insta-Saw. And now that it's gone, he's like, what did we say when he got nerfed? Base Billy is a mid-tier. Well, you play Base Billy every game now, and here we are. He's a mid-tier. He's a mid-tier now, guys. Don't pretend he's not. He does have a decent early game because of his, like, kind of good movement. And because of his good movement, he's still, like, above average in the 1 versus 4 department. Mikey, we have Mikey at 22, my guy. 22. He can, like, break a pallet really fast. He has some decent zoning. Like, he still has everything he used to have. It's just on, like, a timer right now. Because he has an insta-down, he has some comeback potential. He can, like, camp the hook. His camping's alright. He's a decent slugger, decent camper. Because he has an instant down, he can't, like, you can't, like, pop a gen in his face without some level of risk. Like, he still has all that stuff, bro. But it's still Billy, so he gives a lot of unnecessary information. He gives a lot of information about where he is. A directional noise across the whole map is still bad. That's still bad. And because they nerfed the Insta-Saw, he is surprisingly unlethal. I think a lot of people forgot how much fucking counterplay that this character has. This character has a lot of counterplay. Yeah, it's all semi now. The fact that he lost Insta-Saw means he lost his top tier placement. It's literally that simple. Also, another thing about him specifically, you're going to hear me talk about this on another character later. Latency helps him out. The fact that the servers are bad always helped him. Because he is a very overrated character because of the latency. And, so yeah, he's surprisingly unlethal. Overheats, we're gonna talk about that in a second, the latency, and he's still limited at some tiles. Billy, yeah, he's bad, bro, sorry. Alright, the overheat. Let's go into why the overheat is still bad. Okay. The overheat adds a very unnecessary limitation and forces him to be 115, sometimes at critical moments, i.e. slugs, or important chases, or to save gens. Like, you could have to save a gen and be overheating, and you're done, okay? Now, but let's talk about the overheat, okay? The overheat tends to happen when you're losing, okay? That's when it happens more, when you're losing. Because if you want to use your comeback potential, you have to get chainsaws. So you're using your chainsaw more when you're losing, and then you're overheating, okay? Why is that significant, okay? Because what is the standard result of Dead by Daylight? What is it? What happens when the killer goes in against 4 good survivors? What happens? What happens? You lose. Which means, in a standard high MMR match, your overheats are going to be happening consistently because you will be losing consistently. That's why the overheat is not resource management, because it's not avoidable. That's why they pretend it's resource management when it's not. Resource management is a TCG, where you make good plays, and then you use your resources right. This game is, you get punished for hitting your plays. You can't, it's not resource management if you can't avoid the downside through good plays. So, that's his problem. That's his problem. He lost in Sasaw, which took him out of the top tiers. And they so they not only nerfed that, they added the unnecessary limitation which crippled him and took him out of Keystone, the overheat. He would be Keystone if he didn't have overheat, probably. But the fact that he has overheat means he's not Keystone. The fact that he gets forced on 115 sometimes is very bad. But the latency just makes him look better than he is. Like, sometimes you'll just hit a chainsaw that you probably shouldn't have hit. It's sad, bro. I don't like talking about him, because it's just kind of sad. But I also hate his music, so I'm gonna go ahead and be fucking done with him. 15 on Hillbilly. 14. Okay, let's take a break. We're at 14 now. I'm gonna take another drink real quick. Alright, we'll give you if anybody wants to ask anything, we'll give you till 1:40 to ask something. What am I drinking? I got two. I got two tonight, bro. I'm drinking some Svedka strawberry lemonade. It's like fucking, what is that, 70 proof, and I got my 100 proof fucking Captain Morgan's, but we're not doing that until the fucking end. That's my reward for finishing. And I got a Monster and a Coke and a water. I legit have 5 drinks with me right now. These things are hard to do, bro. They have a lot of fucking work. I've been working on this for weeks. I'm actually surprised at the turnout tonight. You guys are great. I usually don't go this late. Gonna get hammered. Yup. I had a rough day today. Had a very, very rough day today. Low pro chains, Billy? Yeah, low pro chains is good. I like that. I was kind of like assuming it was in there because I kind of like it. I think it's optimal. It's hard to work with though. You got to be good. Thanks, my guy. I really did my best, I swear.
Alright.
Okay, now ladies and gentlemen, this next section of killers is the most important characters on the roster. Okay, I went into this at the top of the stream, but for everyone who's new, I'll go into it again. These are the keystones. Okay, the following 5 characters are the most important characters in Dead by Daylight, because these are the characters that you need to make viable through core changes. Once you make these next 5 characters viable at high MMR, then you are done fixing the maps, fixing the core, etc. If you are done making changes to base Dead by Daylight, and then you have to then do it on an individual level. Okay? These next 5 characters are super important, okay? These are the characters that are key to balancing around the top 1%. These are the characters that are key to making the game better. Seeing what their kill rates are, see what they're doing. These are the characters that are very, very important, okay? So, we will start at number 14 with, Pyramid Head at 14. This is kind of a low placement. A lot of people like this character way more than I do. We will get into why I don't like him. But first we need to go into something here. We need to go in. Especially in my server, if anyone's in my server, you will know that I have started a Pyramid Head hate train in my server. A lot of people in my server, in my Discord server, do not like this character. Okay, and I think a big part of it is that they agree with a lot of the reasons that I've stated for why he's not very good. However, that being said, I don't want to downplay the character's importance. I'm going to talk a lot of shit about him, okay? But he's still good enough to be Keystone. I don't want anybody to forget that. He's a very important character on the roster, because he's a Keystone. He is not strong or weak enough to be... He is strong enough and weak enough to be balanced around. He is a very, very important character because of that. Okay? So I'm hoping I can, like, kind of downplay the hate train I'm about to give him here. Because we are giving him I'm about to, like, slam him a little bit. Because a lot of people, again, think he's A/S tier, and that's simply just fucking not true. Okay? So hear me out here, guys. Okay, well, I'll go into some of his positives first. He has a ranged attack that goes below tiles. That's good. He has a ranged attack that goes below tiles. The fact that it goes below the tile means that it ignores the verticality. Okay, that's very good. Ignoring the verticality is very good because it's the thing that adds to the inconsistency of some of the other characters on the roster. That's very good. He ignores it, so it adds to the places he's a potential threat. He can be a threat at, like, almost anywhere because of that. That's good. He's very oppressive in chase, okay? Oppressive doesn't mean good, okay? We'll get to that. But he's very oppressive. He is a potential threat at a lot of places. He's got good zoning. He can punish commitments to vaults. That's good. He has a decisive strike counter, okay? A DS counter is still a relevant effect. Even though decisive strike was nerfed and its usage is down, the perk is still a 45-second benefit to any good survivor that uses it. So being able to counter decisive strike, which is still a high-tier perk, is a relevant effect. And once the survivors get sick of being tunneled, they will slap it back on. The perk will come back. It's going the way of ruin. It's leaving right now, but it'll come back. So the ability to counter it is still relevant. He liked the borrowed time nerf. We just talked about how Ghostface kind of got, like, fucked by it. He actually likes it. He likes the borrowed time nerf because borrowed time was his bigger anti-tunnel perk that he doesn't like. He can potentially stuff out a transition with his ranged attack. He's got some comeback potential with the cage. The cancel is still alright. The cancel is. Even though it's, like, a lot worse now, it's still okay. You can still cheat some basic attacks with the cancel. Okay, he's adaptable when there's people who are tormented. He has to earn his adaptability. That's actually a problem. he's adaptable, he can change what he's doing, but they have to be tormented first. If they don't get tormented, he can't be adaptable. He can't, like, switch a target. He can't, like, quickly kill somebody. Okay? He can get some quick kills, though. But when he cages somebody on second hook. That's the time to cage somebody, second hook. If you down them the first time, hook them when they're tormented, cage them, then they get no DS on their third hook, you get them out. That's so good. He's also not the worst at dealing with dead hard because he can bait it out. That's not too bad either. Okay? Okay, that's everything I can come up with for what he's good at. Okay? Now let's get into his issues. Okay? He has problems. Okay. The first thing that you need to know is that when a survivor gets tormented, he can't zone them anymore. His zoning is only good when they're not tormented. So once the survivor gets tormented, they don't care if they step into shit anymore. So you can't zone them off. Which means they're going to have longer chases because they're going to start taking more optimal routes. That's the very first thing. Getting his quick kills with the torment and the cage on caging is inconsistent. Consistency is so important when you're playing as killer. It's so important. I cannot stress that enough. It's so important. Caging is inconsistent because torment is just not very good. When you're like setting up a torment, like a survivor, ladies and gentlemen, would rather be downed and hooked than be tormented. He would rather be downed and hooked. If I'm a survivor, I take a hook state over a torment hook state. I would. If you are not tormented, he cannot tunnel you because you have decisive strike. And you're smart, and you're still running it. He cannot tunnel you. Okay, that's the next thing. And borrow time. Don't forget about borrow time. If you're on a good team, if you're playing against somebody good, everybody has borrow time. Okay, so you try to tunnel somebody, you hit them, borrow time pops, and then they get a speed boost, and then they're established. Okay, even if like you don't hit them and you respect the borrow time, and they have dead hard because they're good, they're still set up, they're still established, and then you have to actually down them again. Gens are flying while you're doing this. Gens are flying while you're doing this. Okay. And when you tunnel a survivor with this character, you still have to go with all of tunneling's weaknesses. Let's not forget, ladies and gentlemen, tunneling is not meta. Tunneling isn't very good against good players, and the reason for that is that when you're tunneling, when you tunnel a survivor, you give up map pressure. You absolutely give up map pressure, and this character's map pressure is already bad. He's 115. You're gonna tell me his map pressure is good? It's certainly not. He's got 115. He's got 115 map pressure, and he tunnels. That's his thing. He tunnels. So, what map pressure does he have exactly? Gens are flying while you're doing this. While you're getting that survivor out of the game, even if you like hook that guy or write some judgment him and kill him, you're gonna look at your gens and they're gonna be either done or one left because of how much map pressure you gave up by tunneling the guy. And then let's get to his main problem. Okay, this is the main argument on why he's not A tier / S tier. He's a keystone. This is the main argument. Okay, his punishment of the damned is insanely overrated. That's his problem. Punishment is insanely overrated because I've done the math on this. Okay, average human reaction time is 0.25. Okay, 0.25 seconds. Punishment comes out at like 0.8, something like that. That's an any education stat. The average human reaction time is like 0.6 seconds faster than his attack comes out. The average, so not even the good players. The average. Dodging punishment isn't hard for good players. You can like maybe get a niche hit with it when they're like in a corridor, or maybe they're at shack or something and they like go toward the pallet. Like you can maybe get a niche hit, but like when you play this character against good teams, all of your hits, 90% of your hits are coming from your M1. That's where 90% of your hits are coming from, your M1, because you zone them off and then hit them with M1. Your punishment isn't helping you because it's reactable garbage. It's reactable. Like, have you ever been chasing a survivor and then you just can't hit them with punishment? You ever had that? Let me tell you the reason you can't hit them. It's not because you're getting outplayed, because they're not reading you, they're reacting to you. And because they're reacting to you, there's nothing you, as a player, can do about it, besides, like, bait an M1 and try to hit with that instead. If you just launch out punishment after punishment after punishment, you're not going to hit anybody good. Because they're going to react and dodge fucking 19 out of 20 times. Again, you might hit them like once, but then they still have their jet hard, which admittedly you can kind of bait out okay, but still doesn't help you very much. And if you like miss a punishment and then they like go to a window and use life, they're fucking way over there, bruh. His cooldown is still bad. The cooldown is still garbage. It's enough. It's still enough. And like because they reduce his cooldown and not the start up, they encourage you to like spam it. They encourage you to spam and be reactable and feed right into the survivor's hands, and to dodge the attack. It's reactable. It's a situational play. The punishment is. Holding W is still really bad against him if they're far away. That's still a problem. Gens are still gonna fly because of the fact that his map pressure is bad. So like we've gotten into that. That's everything. Even if you're pulling off his tunnel, the gens are still flying against non-pubs. I mean, if you pub stomp somebody with them, you're gonna think he's really good. So gens are still flying while you're tunneling somebody. Punishment of the Damned is very inconsistent and shouldn't ever hit good people. And his map pressure sucks. Those are the 3 reasons that he's not A tier. He's not A tier. When he had his old cancel, maybe he's at the bottom of it, because his old cancel was like so good. But not anymore. Now he's just B, which is okay because now he's a keystone. Again, like even though I just slammed him a whole bunch, I do not want people to like get the impression that I think he's garbage or think he's unimportant. Even like I've called him trash before. I definitely have called him trash before, but this is me like taking all that back. He's definitely not garbage. He's better than like over half the roster. Is he better than over half the roster? It's close. Where's he at? 14? Yeah, he's better than over half the roster. He's still not good. He's not viable. So you can say he's trash because he's not viable. But like, in terms of the rest of the killers on the roster, he's actually important. And when this character is viable, you're done with core changes. That's what I have to say about him. That is a very, very hot take, and I definitely understand that. That is definitely a hot take. Okay. Anybody want to challenge me on that? Since this is kind of a hot take, I will accept challenges on that right now. And we'll finish the shot I just had. Does anybody think that's flawed? I suppose not. You always thought he was overrated. Yeah. That's why he's overrated. Those 3 main reasons are why he's overrated. Again, he's not bad, because it's like bad is something like Trickster is the word. Like that Trickster's bad. Do I play every killer? Yeah, I play every killer that's not Nurse. I'm not that great with Billy or Huntress, but Nurse is the only one I don't play. So yeah, that's my Pyramid Head. That's my stance. Very overrated killer. Okay. Number 13. We have New Boy. Nemesis. Nemesis at 13. Okay. Let's get into the first disclaimer here is that playing Nemesis right now is a bit of a fiasco because of how bad the lag is and how bad the frame drops are. So some of this is admittedly speculative because he's virtually unplayable right now. His tentacle is very inconsistent and very unplayable. So this is just assuming, based on what I know about this game, when it gets fixed, what he's gonna kind of feel like. Okay, I think this is about where he is. Okay, so you're going Nemesis right here. Okay, why is Nemesis right here? Okay, the main reason that Nemesis is right here is because of the zombies. That's the reason he's here. If Nemesis did not have the zombies, he would be in B-. But he has the zombies, so he's here. Okay, the zombies are top tier, they're just stuck on Nemesis. If the zombies were on a Spirit or a Twins or an Oni or somebody else, they'd be significantly better. But they're on Nemesis. So that does kind of suck. Okay? But zombies are the reason he works. Okay? And if you don't see that, you're not playing him right. Okay? The first thing about the zombies is that he gets free information from them. Whenever the zombie outstretches his arms, there's a survivor right there. Okay? That vital piece of information is important to understanding how he plays. Okay? Because if you think Nemesis is bad, here's what you're doing. Okay? If you think this character is bad, here's what you're doing. You are going to the first survivor you see, and you're using your M2. That's the first thing you're doing. And then the next thing you're doing after that is you're using your M2. And then the next thing you're doing after that is using your M2. And yeah, it's kind of slow. If you M2 to M2 into M2, it's kind of slow. You're going to get that, there's going to be 3 gens popping. And then Otz is going to post a video on his channel, post a little comment and be like, yo, this is kind of slow, dude. Like, yeah, fuckhead, it's kind of slow, you're right. Yeah, so stop playing him wrong. That's why I say that, stop playing him wrong. You have 2 sidekicks that run around and tell you where survivors are. Why are you not bouncing around? Okay, why? Why are you not bouncing around? The character plays 1 versus 4 the entire time, okay? If you find a survivor, you can, like, infect them or punch them, and then you should, like, be looking to your zombies to see what they're doing, okay? You have to hold gens to make it work. The next thing you need to be doing is making sure you take your basic attacks whenever possible, okay? Whatever gets the down fastest is what you need to do first. If you can basic attack the guy, basic attack the guy. If you need your power, use your power. Sometimes M2, M2, M2 is fastest. And then if that's the situation, that's what you should be doing. Sometimes it's not. Sometimes you want to be doing an M2, M1, M2. Sometimes you want to do M1 into M2, M2. You want to be doing different combinations. Whatever is fastest is the one you should be doing. Okay? But basically, we need to talk about the zombies, okay? Yeah, that's definitely a valid strategy too, Mr. Glop. You need to be, like, making sure you get to level 2 fast too. That's another thing you need to be doing. But, like, you have 2 sidekicks that tell you where survivors are, okay? This character does not have a bad early game, he has a different early game. Like, I wanted to, like, write him off as having a bad early game because it's kind of hard for him to get that first down. But, like, he doesn't have a bad early game because of his zombies. He gets a lot of tracking for free. He has a different early game. He has a Legion-esque early game where he bounces around between survivor to survivor until he gets what he needs. The zombies are like moving traps, okay? You don't know how many people that have come to me. I think even Beta Nurse came to me and he's like, Rosie, I am jealous that your zombies do something. Like, how do you get your RNG mechanic to work? Well, I don't. It's just not RNG. That's why I get it to work. Trust me, my RNG is bad. My RNG is shit. So, I definitely know, like, the fact that I'm getting the zombies to work so consistently is because they're not RNG. They're a consistent mechanic on the character on a lot of maps. They do have their bad maps, and we'll get to those. They have their bad maps. But, like, it's a very consistent mechanic. When there is a zombie at the loop that you were at, the survivor cannot stay there. You can challenge every loop in the game. And if you read the transition, you can potentially punish the transition too, with a tentacle. Or a basic attack. You have to push, like Trapper. If you see a zombie, pretend you're Trapper or Hag and push towards it. Okay? And the zombies raise their arms and let you know that they're there. That's what they do that for. They outstretch their arms so you go to them. That's what they are telling you. The character is telling you to go over there. You as a player can choose to ignore that information, but the character wants you to go over there. That's what he's telling you to do. Because of this added map pressure, he has better map pressure than Pyramid Head. He has better lethality than Pyramid Head in a lot of situations. He has a better 1 versus 4 game. He can hold gens longer. He has better zoning than Pyramid Head. He isn't completely screwed at the indoor maps because the zombies are better at indoor maps. He can also still kind of challenge dead hard. There's a lot of good things about him. His tentacle is less reactable, or at least it will be when the fucking lag goes away. Right now it's kind of hard because every time you press the tentacle button there's a frame drop. Like, pushing tentacles is just going for it is going to be very consistent when the lag goes away, I think. That's my speculation right there. Because right now I have to like kind of hold it and wait for the lag to go away. And then by then they're ready to dodge it. So it's kind of hard. But like, just like going over there and just smacking somebody really quickly is going to be super good. But you have to know how to use these zombies. If you don't know how to use the zombies, he's not good. And he's B-. You gotta work with them, bro. You gotta work with those zombies. Now again, they have their bad maps. Sometimes Pale Rose is a bad map for them. Father Campbell's, they can get glitched out in the middle. There's a lot of they have some kinks that still need worked out. They still have that. So like sometimes if your zombies just aren't doing what you need them to do, then he's not very good. Okay, so he does have a consistency problem, but nothing that everybody below him doesn't have. Everybody below him has a consistency problem too. So we talked about his map awareness. Okay, next. He has a ranged pallet break. He is the only character in this game, I've talked about this before, he is the only character in the game that can break a pallet while being far away from it. He can zone off. He can push you, okay? He has a ranged pallet break in tier 2, so he can push you to the zombies. That's what it's there for. He's there to push you to them. That's what he's doing. If you don't push them the right way, that's your fault, not his. If the zombies to your left, you push them left, and you used your ranged pallet break to do it. When they pre-drop the pallet, you go to the right, break the pallet far away from it, shielding off any doorways or some shit that might be there. Force them left, right to the zombie, then they don't have any counterplay. Or if they like choose to not go toward the zombie, then you just run up and punch them in the face. That's what it's there for. Yeah, you can force them to stay on the loop, or off the loop, leave the loop, and then go and get hit by it. Like, there's so much potential that those zombies have that people just don't talk about because they write them off as RNG when they're not. They're not RNG. If you think they're RNG, you're bad. Alright, well, we've kissed his ass enough. Let's go into his problems. He has a bad tiering system. His tiering system is very uninspired garbage. Tier 1 is actually bad. Tier 1 is horrendous and hurts him. He is underwhelming early game, I would say. Not as strong as he is later. Tier 3 is also underwhelming. It's not worth it. Once you hit Tier 2, you're pretty much done. Tier 3 is like optional. Tier 2 is the one you need. We talked about the zombies having their problems and glitches. They can get in the way sometimes, too. Very rarely, though. I only had the zombie get in the way once. We talked about the 3 hits being kind of hard. The exhaustion perks can still be a problem. He can kind of challenge dead hard, but that's about it. Not even really. He also goes over the tile, not under it, so his anti-looping is kind of limited because of that, whereas Pyramid Heads just shoots it under, so it's a little bit better. Going over is worse than going under a tile. We've learned that. But overall, I think he's better than Pyramid Head because of his positive attributes. That's the reason. That's the reason, bruh. He's better than Pyramid Head because of that. Okay. Next. I think that's about it. I think that's about it, gamers. Okay, next. Next keystone. Number, what is this, 12? Another thing that's gonna, another hot take, bruh. Number 12. 12 out of 24. The smack dab middle of the tier list. Huntress. Huntress at 12 of 24. Okay. This is another hot take of mine. I think this character is extremely overrated. This character, I've seen tier lists that have her at 3 right now. Like, what? Like, I don't think, like, what? Huntress at 3? You're fucking joking, right? This character is not number 3. This character is not even A tier. This character is B+ Keystone. Okay? So, let's talk about her. She's got a high area of threat, which is decent. She can be lethal in dead zones with like 1-2 downs. She can get some quick downs. Yeah, she's not third best. She's not even close. She's got some decent pressure from a distance. She can potentially deal with the exhaustion perks with add-ons, and in some even situations, she can punish commitments like Pyramid Head can. That's where she gets most of her hatchets at tiles when they interact. She's got some really good camp game. Her camp game is actually the most underrated part about her, because nobody talks about that. She's only here because of her camp game. If she couldn't camp as well as she could, she would be in B-. But she can camp, so she's here. She's got some snowball potential. She does. Comebacks, because of her good camping, she has some comeback. But that's like about it. She can pressure from really far away, so she isn't that punished for dropping chase, and she can get into pressuring you earlier. So, like, that's not too bad, but that's like it. That's really the only positive thing she's got. The punishment to animations, the big threat level. Like, once you know how to deal with her, she's not that hard. Except for one thing, which we'll get to. Okay. Let's start with the absolute worst thing about her, and that's her lullaby. The lullaby makes her super easy to stealth out, okay? You have to remember, ladies and gentlemen, that Survive with Friends can do whatever it wants. Good Swift can do whatever it wants. Good teams can do whatever they want, okay? So if the team's goal is to stealth out a Huntress, the Huntress will find nobody, okay? She is very easy to stealth out to her 45-meter lullaby and secure advantage against, okay? Once you force her on the back foot early, she has to work faster. And since she has to work faster, she's not very consistent. And she has to, like, start camping and shit. She's relying on tile verticality. We've already discussed with Nemesis how that is not as good as being on lower. Because she has to go over the tile and not under it, she's way more inconsistent. Okay? 110, so she's looped harder at other places. People have acknowledged this in the past. She is looped harder at other locations because she's 110. She's very map dependent. Any killer that is as map dependent as she is also inconsistent. No, not an inconsistent killer like that is not third best in the game. Not even close. She's very, very bad on a lot of god tiles. Some of the best tiles in this game, like the Groaning Storehouse tile, like the alongside of the building. I guess she can kind of do something on the inside of it. Groaning Storehouse. What other good tiles are there, guys? Disturb Ward, she sucks there, but everybody does, so that's not really fair. A lot of the better tiles in the game, she's looped harder on. So, like, yeah, don't go to those, but like, you know, characters above her can, like, kind of go in there and challenge those. Like, if you're Doctor or something and you can, like, shock somebody and stop them from getting the pallet inside Disturb Board, you can do that. She can't do that. She can't even challenge those at all. Hag, for instance, can go in there and challenge. I've won a game as Hag before by just booby-trapping the middle insanely and making that my web. I don't think they knew how to react to that. Because their safest place became the most unsafe place on the map. And they didn't know how to handle that. Her wind-up is absolute fucking trash. Her wind-up is terrible. No character with that wind-up is third best in the game. Sorry. No. When you have a wind-up that fucking bad and that fucking slow with add-ons, no fucking way. Not even Death Slinger in this game. No way. No way. The reason that people think she's good, ladies and gentlemen, I'm about to spit some more facts for you tonight, is the latency. Same thing with Billy, except worse. This character has a massive hitbox problem. When somebody has bad internet, this character's hatchets can go right above you, and then you're down. And it's like, oh, Huntress OP! No, bruh. Fucking internet OP. Latency OP. This character sucks. But when she has McDonald's Wi-Fi, she looks like a god. Huntress with latency is probably the third best character in the game. Not gonna lie. She probably is. Huntress with shitty internet can kill anybody. Because you can't dodge her hatchets. The hatchet will go 5 feet above you and still down you, which is poor shit. You can't really... And it adds to a problem overall on playing against her. Because of the fact that you cannot dodge her hatchets consistently. On Survivor. She's inconsistent as a Survivor. That's why I don't get why so many people find her fun. You don't know how bad the guy's internet's going to be. And he's going to throw something, and then it's going to go 12 feet above your head, and you're still down. It's like, how was I supposed to know to, like, dodge 12 feet above my head? You know what I'm saying? Like, that's not fun to me. That's why she's the worst character in the game to go against. I hate her. I hate playing against her as a Survivor. It's horrible. And everyone thinks they're good and thinks she's good because they threw a hatchet 12 feet above you. Like, no. Issues with the server don't make a character good. Synergizing with server issues doesn't make you a good character. Sorry. I don't give her that pass. It's the servers being bad, not her being good. If the servers were fixed, for real, if the servers were fixed, bruh, she would go down on everybody's tier list. She would probably already go down on a real competitive scene. If there was a real competitive scene, she wouldn't even be anywhere near the top. She would get experimented with and then dropped. And everybody realized she was bad. But the wind-up is bad. It lets people break line of sight. Also, like, decent reads can be really punishing. Because, like, if you dodge your hatchet and then vault a window or drop off a edge and then you get your exhaustion perk, that can be, like, really bad for her. Especially when holding W against her is really good because you can, like, zigzag into a line of sight breakers, which means she can't hit you, which means she's chasing you at 110, and then she's bad. And then then there's a reload. She has the most inconvenient reload in the game. Well, I guess Trickster has it too. Her reload is trash. Her reload, you literally have to, like, only do it at advantage, or you have to drop chase and do it, which means you're getting horribly punished. Like, no, she's not A tier. Not anymore. Not when Power Creeps kicked her in the ass. Power Creep has kicked her Russian ass right out of the A tier. Yeah, when the Huntress has McDonald's Wi-Fi, you'll just get hit by hatchets that, like, aren't even coming at you. Like, it's stupid. And then people look at her and go, wow, Huntress is great. Yeah, Huntress had everything to do with that. Like, no it didn't. Fuck, no it didn't. Be real. The only thing she is better at than the Death Slinger is pub stomping. If you go into a match with bad players, she will win the game faster than the Death Slinger will. Which is something that you will hear me say a few more times in this video. When you go into a match against bad players, she wins quicker than Death Slinger. But, like, that's all I pretty much gotta say about her, bro. Latency, inconsistency, inconsistent. She's inconsistent. Consistency is so important. And it will knock you down spots if you're not consistent. And she's not consistent. Again, she's still an important character because she's a keystone. I hope she's viable. I hope she fixed one day, and I hope they fix the fucking problems with her fucking hitboxes. And her servers, and the server problems. But that doesn't make her good. It makes the servers bad. That wind-up is shit. Okay. So let's go ahead and move on. Done with her. Yeah, she's an okay killer. I have her at fucking Destroy Bad Survivors, yeah. I have her at number 12 out of 24. She's the midway point. Like, she's not a bad killer. It's just that she's overrated. Like rank her right, and then I won't have to shit on her as much. Like, understand what her flaws are. Don't think she's God, because she's not. Number 11 will be her counterpart, the Shit Slinger. My boy's come a long way from C tier. His optimization has been really good for him. So he has a lot of the same positives that a Huntress does. High area of threat, punishes dead zones pretty well. Punishes transitions, okay? The thing that sets him apart from Huntress, okay, is his aim down sights. The fact that he doesn't have that disgusting wind-up that she has. The fact that she doesn't have that disgusting winds-up adds to the level of consistency on him. This character is more consistent. He cannot beat pubs as fast. He cannot, when there is a group of bad players, he will take longer to win the game. Huntress will win the game faster against bad players, but he will beat better teams. At high MMR. Yeah, again, I don't care about Otz's video where the Huntress player did better. I could give less than a fuck. Once high MMR comes out and you figure out who's really good, you will see the Death Slingers doing better than the Huntress players. Especially if they fix the servers. Especially if they fix the servers. Shitslinger at number 11. He has better zoning than the Huntress because he's a threat way quicker than she is. When the Huntress starts to wind up, ladies and gentlemen, you still have a solid, second before you are forced to, start reading her. You can still commit to what you're doing for, another full second. Meaning you can get behind something. That's why she's easily looped. If you're looping the Deathslinger at some of those same places that you're looping the Huntress, he might be able to just get a sneaky aim down sights and get you. Just go, boop, shot you. You're coming and getting you down now. Those areas, again, I don't know all of them. Can't say for sure on all of them. But on some of those areas that Huntress gets looped harder, that doesn't apply to the Shitslinger. It doesn't apply to him. His gun can be used as an extended lunge, and she cannot do that. And she cannot do that. Can I tell you a little bit about that high MMR that's coming out? Yeah, bro. That high MMR that's coming out is working. It's an MMR system. Now, to be fair, I can't tell you a whole bunch because the devs don't tell me anything about it. But, the devs won't say anything about it. All we kind of know about it is that whatever variables they're using are kind of working. What they're doing is they are taking the result of the match into more consideration. Okay? That's what they're kind of doing. So when you win as the killer, you're continuing to go up, and you're playing survivors that are consistently winning. Okay? The ranking system isn't going to be used anymore to determine your matchmaking. Because the ranking system can be played, but it can be done by anybody that just puts time into the game. You have to actually win games. When you lose at red rank, your MMR will go down, even if you brutal in safety. That's the difference. The result is taken into consideration more. But, okay. So what we were saying. But yeah, so because she has to wind up, and he doesn't, he can shoot you faster and get his hit faster at certain tiles. Okay? He also has a smaller hitbox on his gun, which you think would be bad. That's your first instinct is, well, it's smaller, it's not a threat. However, his hitbox on his gun is so tiny that it could go through holes that you would not think are possible. I've seen some crazy fucking plays with this guy. I believe I saw True Talent one time actually shot somebody from the bottom of Thompson House with a Deathslinger. You're going, how? There's a big fence there. Yeah, he shot through a hole in the fence that you didn't think was there. The chain was literally extending all the way from the bottom of the Thompson House all the way to the top. He can get some crazy shit you would not think is possible. He has that one through the Killer Shack, which I think everybody knows about by now. Will I increase his range? No, he doesn't need it. He doesn't need it, he's fine. He needs a core, he needs a healthier core, is what he needs to be viable. He doesn't need any buffs by himself to be viable, he just needs a better core. What else about him is better? He is more versatile than the Huntress. When I play him like a stealth killer. I use sloppy nurses on him. Some people save the best for last to make him more of a chase character. He's more versatile. He does need better add-ons, I'll give you that. He also has an above average camp game. He can shoot a survivor that's coming in and then and then like hold them on the chain while somebody gets to stage 2 or dies. He can do that. He can also, like, let's say the best for last, he can definitely camp good. So he's less similar to Huntress. He's more versatile. He has a variety of different styles. But yeah, and we'll get to his reload. Those are pretty much his best features. He can bait out dead hard better than her. He can punish transitions a little better than her because he's faster. He's a threat faster, which we kind of touched into that already. Yeah, it probably is. Okay, he's good at windows. We went into that. He's better at countering holding W. If somebody just holds W, he can counter that. She can't really do that because, again, the hatchet, and because his gun is faster than the hatchet, it's less reactable. Lots of the exhaustion perk counterplay, which, I mean, we've touched on that. He's more consistent at countering the exhaustion perks, which is very good. Okay, next, his faults. Lots of reloading. Reloading still sucks, which, again, without add-ons, that's very painful, which, again, we're assuming, like, double stack reloading here. It's still better than Huntress, though. The fact that he can reload while still walking towards you and still pressure you is very good. He's the, like, seriously. He has, like, the fastest reload in the game. Of all the characters that have to do it, he has the fastest reload in the game, especially when stacked with the add-ons. So, like, and especially at tiles, like, if you're at, like, a tile or something and you're just sitting there, he can, like, reload and he's still pressuring you. Other characters can't do that, bro. Like, even Clown has to commit to a harder reload than the shit Slinger does. But he still reloads a lot, and it's still a con. He can only punish animations in the healthy state. But, like, here's the thing. He can punish you when you vault over pallets still. People, like, don't forget that. Some tiles he can actually just down you at, and then other ones he can just, like, he can still do it in the healthy state. He can still do it. Like, people just like, oh, we can't, like, down you. He can still get you in the healthy state when you slide over and do an animation. He can still do that. He takes a stun, but you get deep wounded, so who cares? He'll make up that time later. And then he can, like, be stealthy and just leave you. Another bad thing about him, though, is that, his 1 versus 4 game is bad. His map pressure is bad. Same thing on Huntress. I don't know if I said that. Their map pressure is bad. A Lullaby doesn't make her map pressure better. It makes her worse. Yeah, but 110 still kind of hurts him. In map pressure and chase sometimes. He also, when he is chasing an injured survivor, this is why I, like, don't think he's a chase character. When he's chasing an injured survivor, if they just, like, pre-drop a lot of the pallets, he has to kick them. He has to kick a lot of them because of how, like, strong they are. Long wall, short wall, he's got to kick. Any jungle gym, he's got to kick. Some tiles with trees around him, he's got to kick. He's got to kick a lot of stuff. Because if he was 115, he would probably shoot up to, like, number 7 or 8. But 110 holds him back because he has to kick a lot of stuff. He's also, like, not the greatest at TLs. He could be better. He can push the other way, which is kind of unique. I mean, Huntress can kind of do that too. But, not really, because then they'll just, like, loop it around the side. It's kind of weird. He's okay, though. Very good character. Way better than I thought he was on release. His player base optimized him, bro. That's the real story. That's the real story. Alright. So, yeah, shit Slinger number 11. Number 10. My man, bruh. He's come a very long way. Wraith. Wraith at number 10. Arguably the most important character in the game. The best keystone. His character is super important now. He has come a very long way since being the trash he was when I started this game. Optimization of the player base. A few buffs, a few favors through bones thrown by the devs. This fucking... Oh, both Ghostface. Yeah, we're about to get to his better form, bro. Wraith 10. Wraith is at 10, ladies and gentlemen. This is something I'm super passionate about. I love this character. I played this character and I've always thought he was underrated. This is about where I think he is, though. I think he winds up right here. Which again, like, this is kind of the spot that he's held. Like, he's, like, I believe in, like, in my last 3 tier lists, he's between, in between 10 and 12, like consistently every time. But keep in mind, that's a better placement every year, because it means power creep hasn't gotten to him. Like the last time we did a tier list, he was like 10 of 22. Then he was like 10 of 20. Now he's 10 of 24. So like he's getting, also this is his highest placing ever from me. He is the best stealth killer in the game. Yeah, absolutely, Bobber, man. He is the best stealth killer in the game. He has a very good 1 versus 4 game. He has very good map pressure. He has some of the smoothest movement in Dead by Daylight. Smooth movement is very important. I know we also like, I'm trying not to mention the add-ons apart from the optimal stuff, but he has some very powerful combinations. To say that this character is like not versatile is like kind of not fair to him. He has a lot of things he can do. The Sloppy Butcher one, the All-Seeing Blood, obviously. All-Seeing Spirit is good. The Bone Clapper, obviously. The Bone Clapper and the Iridescent. The Pallet Breaking one is a little better now, because he's better. Okay, like he's a lot of add-on combinations. Hard for survivors keep track of what he's doing. Wraith with add-ons especially, yeah. Wraith with add-ons super good. One of the best things about the Wraith, okay, we could talk about his gen control, blah, 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 blah. He is the killer in this game that I think is probably, maybe apart from Spirit, punished for dropping chase the least. That's why he's so good. Because if he gets to a tile that he doesn't like and he has to run, he can just go, fuck this, and then he cloaks and then he leaves. And then he moves at like, what, 160, 170 around the map? Is that what he does? He moves 160, 170 around the map, guys. And then what? And then he goes and finds the next guy and has his Iridescent and slash Bone Clapper so they don't know he's there and gets a free hit. But like, Wraith is like crazy good now. Very fast. Takes the weaknesses of the killer role to his advantage. He takes the weaknesses of killer to his advantage, and that's why he's so good. Because whenever he just fucking wants to leave, he can leave. It is not punished nearly by the other roster. Like he's not punished like the other characters on the roster are. He just leaves you, and then he can like fucking, nope, I'm good now, dude. I'm gonna go find the next guy. And then like he can like break pallets and then leave. Like his leaving game, his dropping chase game, bouncing from person to person, 1 versus 4, insanely good. Insanely good. The snowball potential, comeback potential, very good at juggling multiple survivors. He's a good slugger, even with the borrow time nerf. The reason that he's a good slugger still is that he is more consistent with stopping the heals. We talked about Ghostface a little while ago, how about Ghostface, the stopping heals is inconsistent because he moves at 115. They can pop a heal against him more than they can against the Wraith. The Wraith is much better at finding those heals and stopping them. And if they don't heal, well then he just sneaks up on you and downs you. He's not fun to go against because you just feel cheated when you play against him, but like, oh my god, is he so fun to play as. Because you feel in control. You feel very in control. Unless of course you're against very good teams, and we'll get into that in a minute. But like, he is so good at slugging because of how good he is at finding the heals and punishing them. He's got too much speed not to be a good slugger. A part of being a good slugger is speed, and this boy has it. He's very good now. He's a whole new character. He's insane. Okay, let's get into his problems though. He still has some problems, okay? If he does not hit you after the uncloak, he needs to leave. And that's basically the biggest part of outplaying him. If you can survive that first hit, he really can't do much to you. He can like cloak up and try again maybe, but like by then you're positioned, and then and he's there, so he doesn't have that. So like, all you have to do is outplay him one time, and then he pretty much has to leave you, okay? So what this means is that if the survivors do not have a weak link, and all 4 of them are capable of outplaying the Wraith consistently upon the uncloak, all 4 of them are capable of like, holding their dead hards or holding their sprint bursts and like capable of like outplaying him, well, outplaying in quotes, capable of exploiting the bad design of the Dead by Daylight. If they're capable of doing that, this killer is going to have a hard time downing people and hitting you. Which means he could probably not be lethal. I'm willing to bet that's what True versus Oracle looked like. I haven't watched it, because I don't like Oracle. But I'm willing to bet that's what the game looked like. He was uncloaking and unable to get hits. And so we had to cloak right back up. And then since he's not getting hits, then he's losing gens. Dead Hard is a massive problem for him. Because what it allows you to do as a survivor is have the most reaction time between proccing your exhaustion perk as well as young cloak. See, when you're sprint bursting, like, you have to like kind of react prematurely and not be running because you're walking. You're a bit weaker when you're walking, so the Wraith can like bait the uncloak, bait out your sprint burst, and then keep chasing you. He has more sprint burst counterplay. Whereas if you're dead hard, you're running to a tile, the Wraith has to uncloak, boom, you dead hard to the pallet, drop it. Or rotate around even. And then you force him around, then you go around, dead hard, drop the pallet. And then the Wraith has to cloak up. Because yeah, that's what Wraith versus good players looks like. He couldn't get any hits because he would uncloak, they would get that first play off, and then he would be able to because he can't chase. The Wraith can't chase. If you chase as the Wraith, you're going to lose. You have to play that stealth game. So if you don't get that initial hit, you don't have much to work with. And if the survivors don't heal, it's hard to capitalize. That's another problem he has. Do not listen to Scott, asshole, piece of shit, Wile E. Coyote John that says healing against stealth killers is bad. Or good, or whatever he said. Bad? Yeah, he said staying injured against stealth killers is bad. Not when Dead Hard is good. And maybe it's a little bit worse against Ghostface, but because Wraith has that bell, and if you have like Spine Chill or something, maybe not even Spine Chill, just decent map awareness. Like maybe your teammate saw him or something, and you like know where he is. Like there's plenty of ways to like tell he's coming. And even if you don't, the Dead Hard can correct the mistake and potentially save you. So healing isn't that like, in fact, if you heal and the Wraith gets an opening, that's how he can snowball and win the game. So like, get advantage state before you heal. Jesus Christ, get advantage state. But if you're confident in your ability to like knock it down, then I guess you could heal on his face even. Like, he still has some issues. There's a reason he's still not viable. He's just a keystone. He's a character you want to balance the game around and make sure he's viable because of how he plays. His comeback potential has kind of been consistent. But like, other than that, like, because like he still has some of his old issues, but other than that, he's a whole new character. And he's very good. Wraith at 10. Very good. A top 10 character now. He's a top 10 character now, which of a character who was bottom 5 a few years ago, that's very impressive. A very impressive jump. Credit to True Talent, as well as the devs for giving him a few bones. Because he wouldn't be here without those bones from the devs either. Okay. That was the Keystone tier. So again, we got Pyramid, Nemesis, Huntress, Slinger, and then Wraith. That's where we are right now. Those are the Keystone characters. Those 5 characters are the most important ones on the roster. If you want to balance this game around the top 1%, you have to make sure they're viable. What about Billy? Billy was right before that, at top of B-, right below the Keystones. Ugh. Any questions? Give you guys about a minute if you want to ask a question or challenge me. Another opportunity to challenge the Pyramid Head placement. Okay. Give me this drink, bro. Get some more vodka. Okay. I said we have another hour maximum. I appreciate the audience, guys. It's crazy. This late and a lot of you are still sticking around. It's pretty insane to me. Who I think power creep would hit the most? Probably Wraith. Not gonna lie. Oh, it's 11 a.m. for you. Wow, it's like almost 5 over here. It's 4:21 a.m. over here. Probably Wraith because he plays so differently. The rest of the keystones, like, all play kind of a bit similar with kind of projectiles. If the tiles get worse, the Wraith gets more worse than the other ones. The tiles are still really bad right now, don't get me wrong. But, like, on high MMR, and every match being high MMR, I see Wraith taking the highest drop. But right now, against pubs, he's very consistent. That's why True thinks he's OP. Or, like, not OP, but, like, that's why True swears he's viable. Because at pubs, he's super consistent. If you pick the Wraith against the pub, if I pick the Wraith right now, like, I would 32k and pub stomp. He's a very good pub stomper, but his problems are very susceptible to power creep, whereas Huntress too, but Huntress has the latency. Huntress. I'm actually changing my answer. Wraith's too solid. Huntress. We're on 9 right now. That's what I do, Master Luke. Huntress. I changed my answer. Huntress is archaic. Her design is still archaic. From an older era. The Wraith is a whole new character. Huntress is still an archaic design. So, like, any map might hurt her the worst. Like, I feel like that new map is going to hurt Huntress way more than Wraith does. The more indoor maps that get added, the more Huntress loses too. Slinger isn't as effective because of how his aim down sights works. I mean, Slinger doesn't like indoor maps, but, like, he can play them. Okay, 9. This next tier is the A tier. These characters are better than Keystone. They're not Keystones. They're slightly better. That doesn't mean they need nerfed. It doesn't mean they need nerfed, but it just means that they are better than the average, the Keystone characters. The very first Keystone I have is Bubba. Bubba at number 9. Okay, now this is kind of a placement that people might think is overrated. Okay, because here's what I think about Bubba. I think Leatherface is underrated by killer players, and he's overrated by survivor players. A lot of survivor players like swear to God he's the best character in the game, but he's not. Like they swear to God he's like this top tier character, which he's not bad. He's better than average, but he's not top tier. Okay, so we're gonna go into why. Okay, the thing that sets this character apart from the other characters is that he has the most consistent instant down in Dead by Daylight. He has the most consistent instant down in the game. Hello, Omer. What's up, my guy? He has the most consistent instant down in Dead by Daylight. Okay, why is that important? Because it makes him the best dead zone punisher in the game. Alright. This character punishes dead zones insanely well. The best dead zone punisher in the game. He also creates dead zones very quickly because of how scared people can be to like actually drop a pallet. At some pallets, he just gets you. That's what a lot of people also forget. It's like, oh, just run through the pallet. Okay. Sometimes the character just gets you now because he's good. I remember there was a bill that I was chasing on, yes I am, Mr. Omer. I remember there was a bill I was chasing on Suffocation Pit who was just running through a long wall jungle gym tile just thinking I couldn't get him, and yeah, we got him. Like, he can just get you now. Like, he got a little speed boost and he got a duration boost. He can just get you at some tiles. What does that mean? It means you have to drop the pallets, which means he saws right through them, which means he creates dead zones. He can create dead zones very fast. Going into a late game situation against this character with like a dead zone near a 3-gen, yeah, you're fucked. Okay? If you don't drop the pallet. Because he has an instant down, he also counters dead hard. He also counters dead hard because he doesn't have any, he has an instant down. Okay? People seem to just forget how many positive attributes Leatherface has. He also counters borrowed time. if somebody makes a stupid rescue against Leatherface, he can down the guy rescuing you, and then he can down the guy that has borrowed time too, because he can legit just saw right through him twice. That's how good his duration is now. This is pretty Leatherface. He can just saw right through the pallets, bro. He just saw through the borrowed time, hit him once, and then do it again. Yeah, it is weird to see Bubba better than Billy. Okay, but like, the reason that he's here, because it's like, oh, he's got bad map pressure. He's got bad pressure, Rosie. He's not the best at dealing with loops. It's like, but like, why is he here? Ladies and gentlemen, I'm sorry to tell you this. I really am. This character is here because he has the best camping in Dead by Daylight. That's why he's in A tier. That's why he's not a keystone either. That's why he's like kind of at the edge. He has the absolute best camping in the game. By far the best camping in the game. Don't tell me it's not legit. This character will kill you. For real. This character is the best character at camping in the entire game. And why is that important? Because it makes him adaptable. You know how many games as Leatherface that I would just like get it down with 5 gens left, not camp, not camp, not camp, night camp, not camp, not camp, not camp, and then like with like 2 gens left, I would just switch my style up and just go back to the hook and camp the guy. You've conditioned them to fucking go. You've conditioned them to just go for rescues that you're not going to camp, and then all of a sudden you're camping and you've downed the guy, there's a guy on the hook, you're right there, and now you're just standing there. Hi, I'm Leatherface. You gonna rescue? No, you're not. There's 2 gens left. You can't get them done. You can't get them done. I'm standing right here. Come get the rescue. I dare you. Like, he has the best camping in the game. He has the best basement control in Dead by Daylight. Which, I mean, you could say, well, if you just fucking like, oh, but Rosie, if you just camp the whole time, then they'll just get the gens done. I mean, yeah, but like, don't camp the whole time. Play normally first, camp late game. Camp when you've conditioned them to think you won't. Well, not even do that. Don't even do that. Just like, go away for like a second and then come back to the hook. This character is so adaptable. That's his most underrated attribute. This character is so adaptable. He can literally just fucking, like, decide to camp you and then win. If this character chainsaws somebody while there's another guy on the hook, near the hook, the game is over. GG. If this character gets basement at any point during the mid-game with pressure on people, the game is over. GG. He wins. No character with camping this good is keystone. He's A tier. He has to be. If you want to say he's bottom of A tier, that's one thing. Oh yeah, the 3-man slug with one, yeah, with the double Eries. That was good shit, bro. No character with camping this good is in the B tier. I'm sorry. Because camping is just good. I know a lot of survivors don't want to hear that. That's not the kind of thing you want to be hearing. But it's Leatherface. What do you expect? This character is the best camper in the game. He trashes on borrowed. Yeah, we covered that already. He trashes borrowed. That's very good. He trashes borrowed. He's a very good 3-gen Punisher. But like, it cannot be understated how much intercepting one rescue means GG. He has a consistent way to get you. He also trashes on sprint burst and dead zones. He doesn't like sprint burst. That's one of his weaknesses. He doesn't like sprint burst. Sprint burst can kind of fuck him up. But like, okay, dude, when you're sitting there at a dead zone against Leatherface, what's your counterplay? You got none. Like, Billy, you can kind of get in his face and juke him a little bit. No, not Bubba. Bubba has way too much control. Bubba will laugh at you if you try to juke him and then down you anyway. And then spit in your face. That's what Bubba will do to you if you try to fucking disrespect him. He's got great zoning. He can feather now. Don't forget that. He can feather now. He can feather at a tile and do an M1. Like Billy used to do. Well, yeah, we'll get into his problems in a second. But, like, I'm trying to, like, understand why I have him so high. I'm trying to make people understand why he's so high. Because a lot of people don't have him this high. He is so high because of that. He can camp you. consistently. Intercept the rescue. Win the game right there. Consistently. That's a consistent option he has, especially late game. I mean, if you camp the whole time, you're going to lose, sure. But, like, if you switch up your style from patrol to camp mid-game... But it's crazy. People don't talk about that enough. The adaptability of this character is the thing that makes him A tier. Not as, like, tile. Not as tile pressure. Yeah, he can create dead zones real fast, but that's not what makes him A tier. Okay, let's talk about his problems now. The chainsaw is still useless at some loops. Oh no, bro. Trickster was already mentioned. Kind of early in the video, believe it or not. The chainsaw is still useless at some loops. It will never be good at every tile in the game. And then, of course, the windows. The special mention goes to the long wall jungle gym. That is the worst tile in the game for him to deal with. His hardest counter is a long wall jungle gym. You could run bamboozle or crowd control or something to, like, ease that pain a little bit, which I believe I'm actually doing. Is that what I'm doing? I think I have bamboozle on him right now. Let's check. Yeah, there it is. Because his window weakness is kind of a problem for him. So if you, like, block that window off, it'll force a transition. Or an early pallet drop, which will create his dead zones. Bamboozle works pretty good on him. And I don't like bamboozle the perk. I don't like bamboozle the perk. So, coming from me, that's saying something about the synergy that it has with the power. He can be inconsistent at tiles. That is true. He can be inconsistent. But, like, I still think if you just play him, like, go out the whole time and just not camp, you're not playing him right. This character is built to camp. He is designed to camp. He wants to camp. He has to work with the limitations of camping as a play style, though. Gens can fly. He doesn't have the greatest pressure. He doesn't even have the greatest 1 versus 4 game, and he doesn't like sprint burst. Yeah, bamboozle definitely does a lot for him. And again, this is coming from me. I don't like bamboozle, which that really just shows you how good it is on him. Because I hate the perk, and I'm using it on him. It's pretty good. We talked about his zoning. We talked about that. He's got some map dependent issues as well. But like, you know, it doesn't hurt him because everybody else does too. Because everybody else does, the fact that he has some map dependency issues doesn't hurt him as much as you'd think it would. This character is A tier. Okay? There's a lot of people that might be inclined to, like, underrate him or underrate him because they don't like the way he plays. It's like, oh, bro, you're playing Bubba? You suck. Bubba sucks. Bubba definitely just sucks because I don't like losing to Bubba. You shouldn't play him. That's why people think Huntress is better than Slinger. Because they like Huntress better than Death Slinger. There's a bias there. The Shit Slinger is definitely a better character. But, yeah, people just don't like him. That's why they rate him a little low. They don't want him to be the meta of the game. And let me tell you something. If you make a tournament rule set based on kills and escapes, this character jumps up massively. Because of his viability in tournaments. Like, if you have a game where you have to get 1 kill as the killer to win the game, everybody picks this character every time. Everybody picks this character every time to secure the kill because he is the best camping in the game. For real. If you had a tournament rule set based on kills and escapes, this character would be nerfed. Like, that's how good he is. Insane. This character's really good. This character's really good. And don't let anybody tell you he isn't. He's debatably better than the character above him, TBH. But I gave him an edge over him. Number 8, ladies and gentlemen. Big fall from grace here. I got Freddy at number 8. I got Freddy at number 8, bro. This is kind of unfortunate. Okay, first of all, I want to talk about old Freddy, okay? Old Freddy is in pre-patch Freddy. The Freddy that was, like, top 3. Okay, spoiler alert, he wasn't top 3. I have come to change my opinion on that. Pre-patch Freddy was not top 3. That's the first thing you gotta know. Because here's the thing. I don't think most of the aspects of this nerf didn't hurt him. There's only one thing about his nerf that hurt him. And it was the borrow time. which we'll get to. But the nerf didn't hurt him very much. But I still think he's significantly worse than he was. So my only conclusion is that the analysis of him pre-nerf wasn't right. He was overrated pre-nerf. He was never top 3. He was never top 3. 2017 Freddy was the worst character in the game. Not as bad as Trickster, though. Okay, so he does have some good perk synergy. Okay, that's the best thing about him. Perk synergy. He also has an anti-loop power, which isn't the worst thing in the game. An anti-loop power is never bad. It's hard to tight kite him. He forces transitions pretty well, but he can't punish them. He can force a transition, but he can't punish it. That's his problem. Okay? The thing that is carrying this character right now, Evan already said it, is the teleport. That's why he's still here. The teleport. The teleport carries him. If he did not have the teleport, he would be B-. That says nothing about how good he is. That's the teleport. You give that teleport to anybody else, they shoot up here. It's the teleport. Dream projection is such a good ability. Teleport. It allows the perk synergy to exist. Every hook he gets with a teleport in play is much more meaningful than the hook with no teleport in play. He's got some decent zoning. He's actually pretty good on the edge of the map. He can save the gens with his teleport. It's a teleport, bruh. It's the fucking teleport. That's why he's here. The reason he feels worse is because he was never good. That's why. All he can do is still he stomps pubs and that's it. He was never good. Yeah, a lot of people are starting to miss the old Freddy. Which again, I mean, I can't say I'm one of them because I do like how the character is still okay. He's not very unique though, I'll give you that. But like, this is the Freddy you have, this is the one that's staying. He has a teleport, bro, guys. That's why he's good. It's very sad that that's why he's good. It's hard to tight kite him. He's kind of actually prone to stuns, okay? Because sometimes he wants to like rush through the middle real fast, so sometimes the survivor can like pull back and just stun you when you're rushing through the middle to try to get an easy hit on somebody. And when he stuns, it's a free transition. He's good at forcing transitions, but he can't punish them. So that's the thing. He's actually like not even very good in chase. I'm actually predicting power creep is going to further kick him in the butt. I predict that the next time I do this tier list, he'll be a keystone. That's where he'll be next time, a keystone. I don't think he'll be an A as I keep playing him. He has some mind games he can do. He can kind of use the teleport and chase sometimes, but like, it's not the best. It's not the best. He's just blah, which I think a lot of you kind of understand that he's just blah. He's a blah character. He's been blah since he happened. Mobile version, just go to the App Store, my guy. Type it in. All the exhaustion perks cuck, especially Dead Hard. Dead Hard just is like a counter to a snare with no counterplay. Nothing you can do about it. About 100% better than Freddy. Yeah, on my next tier list, he probably is gonna be. Because I acknowledge that, yeah, this is probably not even right. But it's just hard for me to like put him down so early. But yeah, he's got problems, bruh. Pre-dropping the pallets is still really bad against him. Okay, listen. This Freddy is an anti-loop character, okay? How many other anti-loop characters are in the game? How many other anti-loop characters are in the game? You have Clown and Doctor, right? Is there any other ones that we're forgetting? Is that it? That kind of slow you down, I guess. No, that's about it. Out of the two anti-loop characters, okay, I guess Hag maybe, but like Hag's different. Hag doesn't play like an anti-loop. Out of the anti-loop characters, Freddy places the trap at his foot, okay? He places the trap at his foot. What does Clown do? What does Doctor do? Clown and Doctor throw their attacks at the survivors. What is the distinction there? The distinction there is that the survivor that is getting attacked is influenced by the anti-loop sooner than they are on Freddy. Freddy has to push them into the anti-loop. They don't have to go for that. They can just leave. They can transition. When they see you setting up attack, they can pick the best possible time to transition against you. And Freddy cannot punish transitions. Clown can potentially punish transitions. Doctor can consistently punish transitions with range add-ons. Freddy can't do that. Freddy takes the transition in the fucking dick. Okay? He was a little better at punishing transitions back when he could have more snares on the map. So like that kind of hurt him. That nerf kind of hurt him because you could like potentially put a place up with snares and force another early pallet drop. But now, when there's only 5 snares in play at once, you ain't punishing no transitions. Some tiles, it potentially takes 3 snares to force the guy off of it. And Pallet Freddy? Oh, fuck you. We're not even talking about that. Pallet Freddy's worthless. Pallet Freddy, he's definitely a B tier with pallets. Yeah, they'd have to be asleep in the first place. He has to earn the anti-loop ability. The more I think about this, yeah, you guys are definitely right. Bubba is definitely above Freddy. We're changing that. Bubba at 8 and Freddy at 9. When that survivors are awake, he's just an M1 killer, and they have more access to being awake now. The teleport can only do so much. If the core was better, maybe. If he was more lethal, maybe. But like, this character is overrated. It's just those fucking gen stall add-ons beat babies. He's still pretty good at beating pubs, but like, he is overrated, bruh. He's overrated. 2.5 hours was the goal here, by the way. Now we're still at fucking 8. Yeah, trash. It's trash. He sucks. If he didn't have the teleport, he would be useless. He would be a fucking B. If he didn't have teleport, he would be B. Probably around Ghostface level with no teleport. Probably. Like, that's how bad he would be. The teleport is saving this character. It's a shame, too. Also, his add-ons fucking suck. Probably the worst add-on kit in Dead by Daylight. Maybe Nurse is worse, because base Nurse is better than everybody, but no, Nurse has like 4 good add-ons. Freddy has like 2. His add-on kit sucks. One of the worst add-on kits in the game. It's almost 4 AM, it's almost 5 here. Trash. They need to look at him again. No, worse than Clown with no teleport? Maybe. You might be right. His add-ons are bad. Cloud's add-ons are better. He might shoot all the way down to fucking B. Minus, yeah. I honestly think they need to take another look at him. He needs an add-on overhaul, at the very least. I need to make my how to buff video on him, because he needs something. Very sad. Very, very sad. Yeah, he's done. Freddy at number 9, Bubba at 8. We just changed that at the last second. Okay, I'll have to update my my picture when I post it. Number 7. Now we have Doc. People say Doctor's B tier. What the fuck are you talking about? I never understood that. You know, some people keep telling me that Doctor is like bad. Like what? Or like, what are you doing? Play Doctor for like 1 day with nothing but here's what you do. If you think Doctor's bad, here's what you do. You play a whole day with this exact build right here. Maybe somehow pop for Undying. Play a whole day with this. Just nothing but this. Discipline, high stimulus electrode, and discipline notes. If you have Doctor's bad, no. This character is not bad. This setup right here is insane. This kit right this right here is one of the most insane things in the game. This is one of the best builds in the entire game. This right here is better than 95% of setups in Dead by Daylight. This right here. If you think Doctor's bad, you're insane. Okay, now let's go into why. First of all, this character probably has, if he doesn't have the best early game in Dead by Daylight, he has one of the best early games in Dead by Daylight. He uses Whispers better than any other killer in the game. He walks up, Whispers, Static Blast. Static Blast is insane. When I was on Jay Allo's podcast, people were like, "Oh, Doctor can kind of get countered and chased. Blah, 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 blah. Doctor's kind of get countered and chased." And like, no one even fucking talked about how good Static Blast is. Like, bro, Static Blast is like why he's here in A. If he didn't have Static Blast, he'd probably be B, and I'd be happy to concede that. Static Blast is crazy. The fact that you just find survivors for free is insane. It means he doesn't need Lethal Pursuer. He can use the more consistent Whispers and be better with it. He gets to sub out Lethal Pursuer for Whispers. That's insanely good, because Whispers will help him more throughout the match, which is a big argument against LP anyway. But like, some characters need LP because their early game is just that bad. Doctor's isn't. The fact that Doctor can sub out Whispers for LP is really good. Okay. He has the most consistent anti-loop power in the game. He's the Wraith of anti-loopers. He is the best anti-looper in Dead by Daylight. Okay? This man can literally shock... He throws out a shock that goes literally, like, insanely far in front of him. He can stop transitions that, like, barely any other killer can. It's insane what he can do. There was a match I had on Haddonfield that I stopped the transition to one of the fence tiles, and I was like, that should not have worked, but it did, because I was Doctor. His consistency at loops is insane. And very rarely do you get to tiles where you feel like you don't have control. And if you are at a tile that you don't have control at, it's probably because you don't have high stimulus. High stimulus is probably the best add-on the character has. The power is spammable. That's another thing. You don't get punished for spamming the power. There's no reload. There's no nothing. There's no reload. There's no limitation. You can spam the power all fucking day. Pyramid Head wishes he could do that. Pyramid Head wishes he could spam his power like Doctor can. Half the killers in the game wish they could spam the power like Doctor can. Doctor can just spam and not even think about what he's doing. Static Blast has multiple uses. You can counter flashlights with Static Blast. You can use Static Blast as barbecue chili. You can use Static Blast to, like, find survivors if you lose them. And you can use Static Blast to put somebody in tier 3. Like, Pyramid Head's actually more spammable now than he used to be. Static Blast has a multiple use power with lots of things you can do with it. Tier 3 can kind of slow the game down a little bit. Not a whole lot, though. What else? Decision making. He has some of the best decision making in the game. He has some of the best decision making in Dead by Daylight. Static Blast adds to that. Big part of it. The illusionary doctors are really good. They kind of act as zombies. They kind of act as zombies on Nemesis. Which again, that's really good. Also really good. He's very good at juggling and bouncing around. Late game Doc is still really good. The setup where you 3-gen as Doctor, still insane. That's still really fucking good. He's a good slugger because of how lethal he is. He's a lethal killer. He's a good slugger because he's lethal. He is a good slugger because he can down you. Okay, he has trouble against the top 1%, but like everybody does. Everybody does. So like, that's alright. I'll hold that against him. He's not viable. Like, don't forget that, guys. There's only 4 viable characters in the game. He's not one of them. As much as as good as we say he is, he's like not. He's good late game. We already talked about that. I think that's tier 3 is not slow anymore. Tier 3 is natural progression of Dead by Daylight now. The skill checks always affects my give. Oh, I need to read that full thing. Hold on. And also playing with bad survivors with the skill check, hopefully. Yeah, I mean, it can be inconsistent. It can be. The fact that he has that and other characters don't means it can give him something sometimes. I mean, the reverse ones aren't too much of a problem for me, but while I'm playing against him. Because, like, it's weird to, like, I don't know, I find myself hitting grates on those. Yeah, if you have a survivor that's trying to, like, urban evasion you or some shit, or some stupid Claudette, like, he just gets a free hit on that stupid Claudette. And then the stealthy survivors usually can't kite, so they usually get hit real fast. And go down. And then you have a hook. And then you're done. And you're moving on. And you stay just like that, the early game is stopped. Insane. Okay. So, some issues with Doctor. He's not perfect. Most creative add-ons. Yeah, he's got a really good add-on kit. Well, I did a how to buff video on him, and his add-on kit was, I only had to change like 10 out of the 20, which is insane for behavior, by the way. When I did like Devagorian, I changed every one, and I only had to change 10 on Doc, which is insanely good. Some issues with him though. He's still 115, so he doesn't have the best map pressure in Dead by Daylight. He doesn't have it. He still doesn't have the best map pressure. He never will, as long as he's 115. Doesn't have it. He's kind of map dependent. If the map has 2 stories, he's like done. The meat plant fucking wrecks him because of how you can static blast and still have to go a long way to get to somebody. He doesn't like mid-witch. I mean, he can chase people on mid-witch, but like just the way the layout is really bad. Larry's, I still don't think he likes his own map too much. Just bigger maps, he doesn't like those. But Whispers helps him out. Non-range setups can be very transitionable. If you do not have high stimulus electrode, he's worse. I'll give you that. He's worse without that add-on. He's worse without that add-on because he can be transitioned on easier. Because the thing, when he has high stimulus electrode, it's hard to tight kite him, and it's hard to transition. He can literally just trap you at tiles. If you do not have the range set up, he's much easier to a kite. He also counters dead hard. I forgot that one. When you shock somebody, they can't dead hard. Which is like, he's the only character in the game who can like counter dead hard with their power. Like actually just prevent its usage. Without an add-on. And that's crazy good. The other exhaustion perks can kind of fuck him, but not really. Sometimes they can. If you don't get the shock at the right time, you can be forced to kick a pallet sometimes. But those are his biggest issues. Gens can still fly though because of how bad his map pressure still kind of is. He's still limited in that regard because he's 115. But he's still better than like everybody else. He's still better than like everybody else, bro. Alright, ladies and gentlemen. Hold on 1 second. I've been drinking too much. I gotta go to the bathroom and then I let my dog out. I'll be right back. Okay, boys, we're back. Let's go to number 6. Gotta finish strong here, boys. Number 6, I got the Hag. Okay, Hag, let's start this. When she has her web, mwah, she's Gucci. She can just win with her Hag. She has good hook economy. One hook on her means more than other characters because of how good her camping is. She has the second best camping in the game because she can put a trap down and like, I don't know if she's twins, debatable, but we'll get there. She's a good slugger. Well-placed traps can answer tile transitions, which is nice. She can punish the survivors for staying injured. Second best camper, yeah, I'll go ahead and give her that. I'll give her that. Second best camper in the game. That's really good. That's why her hook economy is so good. She can punish survivors for staying injured. She creates mind games in the dreaded 50-50s at the pallets. Survivors hate the dreaded 50-50s, ladies and gentlemen. I can assure you. She excels with verticality. That's what a big distinction between her and other characters. Excels at it. So other characters that might struggle on meat plant harder, she doesn't struggle as bad. She likes a mid-witch more than some of the other characters do. But those are genuinely bad killer maps. So if you're a hag on those maps, you're more established and more set up. So we talked about the slugs, right? Yeah. She can get some cheesy hook grabs, which is very nice. And if she's just like going back toward the hook, she could force her trap's activation and teleport right there, which is very nice. It gives the survivors a no counterplay situation, which is very good. Like, you know what I'm talking about? Like, if they're saving somebody and, like, they're, like, using their crouch and then she's walking back towards the hook, her traps have to be activated. There's no choice. Good zoning with her fast downs, because good zoning can be rewarded with downs. She gets, like, the least amount of time in between good zoning and fast downs. Maybe Nemesis with zombies sometimes, but, like... yeah, Hag is a very good zoner. Talked about the slugs. Grabs on the hook. Good late game. Very hard to save from. Very hard to, like, save people from her. It's very good, bruh. That's about all of her positives, though. Like, she's a very simple character to talk about what she does. The range on her traps is very far. That's really good. The setting speed buff really helped her out from a few years ago. Negatives. Dead Hard cucks her. Dead Hard absolutely fucking destroys her. It's very unfortunate, but Dead Hard absolutely just fucking cucks her. You can have a really good trap, teleport right to it. Dead Hard just cucks you, and then you get wrecked. Yeah, she can guarantee some hits. She definitely can do that. She has a bad early game, which isn't the worst flaw in the world on her, because she can make up for it with a lot of her good momentum. Heals can hurt her really bad. Healthy survivors are bad because she can't chase you. She's one of those characters who can't, like, chase because she's 110. So you have to rely on the power. So having a survivor that's 2 hits kind of, like, shreks her if you don't have a web. And again, early game you don't have a web. So that first down is kind of hard to get. Which means the first down being hard to get combined with your early game being bad could mean that the survivors pop advantage state against you quickly. And when they pop advantage state against you, they're going to heal. And when they heal, you can't down. And it's hard to come back as her sometimes. Although she does have comeback potential because of how good her web is. So she can do it. It's just a lot harder. But a thing that makes her, like, not S tier, again, this is another character people have in S tier sometimes. The reason she's not that good is because she's countered by an item in the game. That being the flashlight. If there's a guy with a flashlight in the game, she shoots down the B tier. She's B tier with a flashlight in the match. Okay? No other killer in this game anymore is countered by an item. That's only on her. She's the only character in the game countered by an item. I guess Wraith can still be light burn, but that's not really relevant anymore. If you are playing a top 1% team, and the guy and the asshole with the flashlight steps up and really knows what they're doing and does what they need to do, this character struggles. One guy. Just one. That's all you need. Because that character can be the prime rescuer. You can't chase him with Hag because he'll burn all your traps. Super fragile. Yeah, because survivors know where your web is and they can, like, run through it. That's also true. Especially since you're, like, near the hook. They definitely know that you want it near the hook. If people are scared of her, she gets a lot more reward. Yeah, that's true. Her web is fragile. I didn't even have that written down. I do have without a web, she really can't win, though. If you played one of this character, you've played everybody. Because this character wins one specific way. So if you know what you're doing, it's very easy to coordinate getting those traps out of the game. And the next thing you know, she has to set up again, and she has to do her early game all over again. You know what I mean? Yeah, you're right. Dead Hard being bad. Cuckster. She can deal with the other exhaustion perks with well-placed traps, but like just Dead Hard specifically is very hard for her to deal with. Because she's got to be close to them, but she has to secure the chase. And if somebody trips the trap, you teleport, and then they Dead Hard, and then they're at a pallet. Which again, place traps at the open, but like you have to like make sure you place traps combination of in the open and at tiles, so you don't like, you know what I mean. So it's not so like some of your traps will be at those tiles if you're good, I think. But yeah, those heals, bro. Those heals are rough for her. The flashlight is rough. She's a good character though. The web can make her win really fast. She's kind of a pub stomper though. That's another thing. Like high MMR is gonna make her go down a little bit, I think. Yeah, reset and full heal. And heals crush her. It takes coordinated teams to like exploit it though. She might go down the more I think about it over time. Cause like it's a swift buff. Everybody that gets like a swift buff is gonna like have a harder time at high MMR. I don't know though. We'll see. Her future is looking kind of grim, not gonna lie, right now. But we'll leave her there at 6 for now. Number 5, the final A tier character. We have the Oni. Okay. Oni has Blood Fury, which is probably one of the best powers in the game. The early game isn't good, but like when you're actually in Blood Fury and you're in Blood Fury, you're moving in Blood Fury. One of the best powers in the game. Fantastic movement. Good 1 versus 4. Good 1v1. The exhaustion perks can be countered. The transitions with your dash can be countered. He's good at punishing the animations when someone vaults through a window. Decent camping and hook interception. If you have somebody on the hook, you wait a little bit, pop a Blood Fury, sprint on back. You can potentially find yourself in a Bubba situation, which is really good. Quiet terror radius music. People can have a hard time figuring out where the fuck he is, which is hard. He can instant down you to counter Dead Hard. That's good. He has an answer. He has a potential answer to every exhaustion perk in the game. Decent bouncing around. Infectious Fright helps out that slug game. Really good. Very good slugger. I think we said that already though. I'm sure we did. Very simple character. Like there's not much to say on him, but like he's simple but effective. He's a brutalist. His early game is bad. 115 in the early game, that's kind of rough. But you do have that quiet terror radius music to kind of help you out. Tight kiting is kind of his biggest problem. If you could tight... Blood Fury is not that good against basic tiles. TLs, believe it or not, are some of the weakest that it has to deal with. The long wall jungle gym is pretty bad against it though. If you can tight kite him in Blood Fury, that's its big weakness. But tight kiting is like kind of the weaker kiting in this game. Holding W and transitions are very strong in this game. So the fact that he kind of forces you to tight kite him is actually not too bad. Although you can pull off a sneaky Lithe or something in transition against Blood Fury anyway. That can be bad for him. You can kind of get up in his face and pull up like a back rev situation. Sometimes. Most good Onis know exactly the time to release it though. Top knot changes. Yeah, let's scalp top knot. You're right about that. Good add-on. Dead Hard is a problem for him when injured because of the whole, it allows tight kiting to exist. Allows tight kites to exist, and he doesn't like those tight kites. But yeah, he has massive comeback potential. Tag does too, I didn't say that. But like, just kind of one play on these guys, you just kind of win the game, which is like really good. They could be like losing, and then just one play brings it back. That's why his power is so good. That's why their bad early games don't matter as much. They matter, just not as much. Also, another thing that people like to do against him is pop heals, which, I mean, it's not terrible against him, but it's kind of win more. You should probably just do the gens before you start popping the heals. If you're gonna heal, you gotta do it away from a gen. Make it like a plague situation. Probably nurses might be okay on him, even though he's got a big terror radius. He's got a good late game. It's hard to pop that last gen against him. You know how many games as Oni I was like at 1 gen and I just came back and won because I had one good player with the power. Good character, bro. Wish I had more to say on him because he's number 5, but it's just there's not much to. The fact that he can move better than Billy ever could was very good. He can like slide up against the wall, which is like really good. Yeah. You really do have to take him seriously. It's very nice. It's very nice. You do have to like make sure he doesn't win, because he can win in any second. When that power goes off, that's a tense match right there. Good stuff, bro. Oni's good. Decent camping, we said that already. Yeah, he's good. He's very adaptable. Number 4. This is a character we were talking about at the top. Ladies and gentlemen, there is one character right now that is getting more hype than anybody else as the 3rd S tier. First of all, there is no 3rd double S tier. Okay? Their double S tier is back. So Blight is technically an S tier. I have Blight at 4. These are the S tiers, okay? Blight at number 4. Most people are going to have Blight at 3 right now, okay? Most people are going to have Blight at 3. Okay, now admittedly, some of this reasoning is a bit speculative, but we'll get into why. Okay. First of all, Blight, great early game, great 1 versus 1, great 1v4, great map pressure, great movement. He's got so many positive attributes. Okay, so many positive attributes. The movement is just, and the optimization on the power. Another character that's been increasingly benefited by his player base optimizing the fuck out of him. People like have sat down with this character and have like figured out ways to cheese hits at these places that you wouldn't think that he could get hits at. Very important to playing him. So he's hard to play because of that, of the amount of training you gotta kind of like do with him. Okay, he's got the transition movement down. That's kind of how they were designing him around, the transition, so they can deal with the transitions very well. Good late game. We talked about his lethal. He's good at bouncing around. No fucking pun intended. We'll get to that in a minute. He's good at bouncing around, no pun intended, until he finds the right target. He doesn't have any tracking, but the amount of speed that he uses to patrol the map means he will get the information he needs anyway. So, like, he doesn't need tracking. He'll find you eventually. He's just one of those characters, he's gonna find you, bro. He's also got some good zoning, because he can break pallets with his power, which is really good. That's really nice. He can, like, use his power to break the pallets and zone you off correctly, which is very good. And then if he, like, he could potentially have the power back before he even transitions over there if he, like, only used 2. You know, he's got some shit, bruh. He also doesn't really mind transitioning between some elevations. Like, if he's going on a hill or on some of those tractors, he can still get hits. Which, again, some of these killers can't do that. Which is, like, very, very good. He's very good, bruh. He's a very good character. Okay? But again, this is one of those characters we gotta talk about these negatives that no one else is talking about. That's what I gotta do, bro. That's why I'm here. Okay? Dead Hard kills this character. Dead Hard kills this character. No killer that loses to Dead Hard this bad is not in the same tier as Nurse and Spirit. He can be bouncing, you have the perfect shot, Dead Hard to pallet drop. No character in the S tier has that problem. Sorry. I mean, he's in my S tier. He's not on the same level as Nurse and Spirit. No killer that has that issue. Nurse and Spirit stomp Dead Hard, bro. The Nurse and Spirit laugh at Dead Hard. Nurse and Spirit ignore the rules of the game. You're not on their level, bro. Like, for real. Next. He's very, very, very map dependent. There are several maps in this game where Blight goes down to B tier. Larry's, Rotten Fields. Yeah, he does have good add-ons. Larry's, Rotten Fields, the Swamp, Pale Rose, he is garbage at. Grim Pantry, he is garbage at. He's almost unplayable at those maps. He's almost unplayable there, bro. He's almost B tier. And I don't think I don't know if he's done yet. That's another thing. You don't know if this guy's done yet. He got nerfed again, and he just got nerfed in the last patch. They fucked with him again. And I still don't think their efforts to remove the J flick are done yet. There's more Ormond. Yeah, Ormond's pretty bad on him too. He's got a lot of sliding inconsistencies, a lot of issues. Sometimes on some of those swamp maps, he can like hit a tree one way and bounce, and hit the other way and slide. Like it's not even the same. The same trees are inconsistent. It's very, very bad. He's not punished for dropping chase. We didn't talk about that though, but whatever. Sneaky uses of an exhaustion perk and pull off some child transitions against him. Like you go to a long wall jungle gym window, and you can 360 him if potentially sometimes, and then you get he misses, you get your little exhaustion perk, and then you have the cooldown that's there, which his power's on cooldown more than the three above him. He's also easy to tight kite. He has a tight kite weakness. He can be tight kited at some locations. Some tiles he does have to kick. He does have to break some things. Possibly more of his quote-unquote exploits might be removed in the future. Again, like I said, this attempt to remove W and J flicking is not done yet. I think they'll have those out of the game. And then, this character is new. This character is developing. More counterplay is going to show up. I guarantee you, since he's so young in the S tier, his life in the S tier is not even 3 months old. Survivors will have this character, I promise, and you will find some counterplay there, because I don't think he doesn't have it. Like maybe shooting back towards him. I'm trying to think of stuff you could do. Maybe some Nurse-esque kinds of counterplay you could do there. You will find some counterplay of this character. The survivors will. His meta isn't done developing on either side. Combined with more nerfs, I don't think he's... even if you want to think he's top 3 right now, I don't think he's here forever. He's got bugs as well. Another problem. You hope the devs don't nerf him? Not likely. That's my exploit on... that's my thing on Blight. Dead hard is his biggest weakness in game. The biggest weakness out of game is the attempts to nerf all of his quote-unquote exploits, as well as he's young. He's a very young character. You can't like just say he's broken yet or top 3 yet. I think the counterplay will be developed. Yeah, I don't think he's gonna stay up there. I don't. He'll be probably A, but by the time his counterplay is all figured out. But yeah, we still have him in S right now. That's where we are. Okay, ladies and gentlemen. This is probably the moment y'all have been waiting for. We're gonna go into number 3. Number 3, I got twins. I got twins at number 3. I did not tier them on the last tier list. This is their debut as well. The twins are fucking insane. Yeah, I will die on this hill. These characters are insane. They are debatably like these characters are crazy, bro. Okay. Like twins is even younger than Blight. Yeah, I know that. I'll get to that. I'll get to that point because it's not something I ignored. I understand that. Okay, listen. Okay. Twins are fucking stupid. Okay. Twins are insane. Okay. Twins have a great 1v1. Twins have a great 1 versus 4. The twins have the absolute best map pressure in Dead by Daylight. The absolute fucking best. Okay? They are insanely good. Okay? So, let's talk about Victor, bruh. Okay? Let's talk about Victor. I want you all right now to think of a list of the things in the game that Victor counters. Like, just think about it. Okay? Dead hard. That's the very first thing. He counters dead hard. He counters fucking dead hard. Because if you hold out his little arms and then, like, what are you gonna do? Not use your dead hard when Victor's coming at you? Counter sprint burst. He's fucking almost faster than you when you're sprint bursting. He counters all the exhaustion perks because transitions don't matter against Victor. Transitions don't matter. He counters Iron Will because he has a base Bloodhound that is really fucking good, and I'm very surprised that wasn't nerfed. His base Bloodhound is fucking stupid, and it's making me question whether or not Bloodhound's actually a good perk. That's how good it is. Counter Sprint Burst. He counters long ball jungle gyms. Victor doesn't care about the exhaustion perks. He counters long ball jungle gyms because he can go through the window, punish your animation. He can also rotate faster. He moves at like Wraith speed. I mean, he's a threat. He doesn't have to uncloak. He's moving at Wraith speed the whole fucking time. He can rotate around these tiles faster. Any place that has a straight away, Victor can get you at. So like pre-dropping pallets doesn't even work because if the tile's big enough, he can get you anyway. Maybe at some of those more circular tiles, they might be a little bit more effective. But Charlotte can just come over and kick those. Charlotte can just come over and kick those. So like that don't matter. Okay. People like don't understand Charlotte's role in this character. Okay. People that go in there and they separate them right away are playing them wrong. These characters need to stay together until they're ready to win. Okay? This can be hard to achieve if they know what they're doing, and we're gonna get into that. This is gonna be a long one because people need to like understand this. Okay? I feel like people know nothing about this character. Okay? These characters at the beginning of the game stay together. Okay? In fact, if you can get your first down with Charlotte, you're in business. Likely not, though, because you are a 115 killer. So, if you can, like... The best ideal situation for you, okay, is to get somebody in the corner of the map as soon as you start, okay? Get to the corner of the map, zone them off to the corner, send Victor out, latch them. In the corner. When they are in the corner, they are zoned off and probably have nowhere to go. Okay? Now, obviously, if they have a jungle gym, you might not want to do this. You might want to pick somebody else. But, like, you need to find a weak survivor at a weak part of the map and latch them with Victor. Get the down with Charlotte. That reunites the two, starts your hook. Okay? You get that first hit with Victor, they're oblivious to you as Charlotte. So even if it's kind of far away, they might not. You don't want to separate them, though. You can kind of, like... Victor gets an aura reveal off as soon as he latches, so you like can like get over there. Okay, it can. Now again, this is kind of hard against good players, but it's doable. Every Victor's so broken that everything you miss is your fault. There's nothing like every pounce you miss is your fault. That's a nurse and spirit thing. Okay, so you latch the guy, you go over there, and they don't know you're coming because they're oblivious and they don't really know where you are. Down, easy, hook the guy. Okay, you leave Victor at the hook, and then you send Charlotte out. And then, like, you need to get your injures, okay? So another thing that the latch can do, if the survivor runs past any other survivor, they give off killer instinct, and then Charlotte can go over there and hit them, okay? Charlotte can go over there and hit them. They can spread their pressure around really quickly because Victor's a fucking motion sensor. He can go over there and just hit them, and then, like, they don't know you know that they're there. You see the guy with Victor running around. They hear Victor's shriek radius. They're not really paying attention to the terror radius. Okay, next. So like once they get all their fucking injures in play, okay, Victor is coming out, okay? And then when Victor comes out, you're about to lose the game. This character this is admittedly kind of pub stompy, which is kind of hypocritical, but this character can literally win in 2.5 minutes. If you're playing the right. I have done it multiple times. I've won the game in 2.5 minutes against pubs. Because Victor's that good. Because they don't have counterplay. They can't loop Victor. He moves at 150. You can't loop him. He goes over all the pallets. He can go over all the windows. The key is like you have to play it enough to like know how to angle Victor to get over all the fucking windows. That's the hard part. You have to just play them enough. Okay? You gotta just play them enough. Now, next, Victor can be kicked. This is something that a lot of people cite when I say that they're top 3. Victor can be kicked. Okay. People like to cite that Victor, first of all, if you're doing what I'm suggesting and leaving them together, if they kick Victor when Charlotte's nearby, the kick doesn't help them because Charlotte's right there. Victor's going to be back in like 5 seconds. He respawns in like 5 seconds. Okay? So if they're nearby, Charlotte can continue the pressure for them. That's why you don't want to split them up too early. That's the first thing I'm going to say about the kick. Secondly, if they're far away and you hit a survivor, because this is people say Victor hits somebody, then he's kicked, and then Charlotte gets, and then you get nothing. Okay. First of all, if you're playing them right, you have Sloppy Butcher on. That's the very first thing. Okay? Next, when you... If you get kicked, and if you get kicked with 3 slugs, what does that matter? I want you to tell me that. If you get kicked with 3 slugs, what does that matter? You went over to the gen, got the guy. You found the next guy's bloodhound, downed him. Found the next guy, downed him. Then you got kicked. What does that kick matter? 3 people are down. Ruin's destroying the gens. What does that matter? It doesn't. So, like, yeah, you got kicked as Victor. It doesn't matter. You won the game already. There's like 3 slugs. Just go down the other guy with Charlotte because you know where he is. Because you just were there as Victor. Go down the guy. If you don't think you'll make it, just send Victor right back out when he comes back in 5 seconds. And then, if he's healthy, incapacitate him so we can't heal the guy. When you're getting kicked, it doesn't matter, okay? The only counterplay that this character has is 2 and 2. You have to group up, which is a very suboptimal way to play Dead by Daylight. If you do not group up against this character, you have to secure advantage state against them and then group up 2 and 2. That's how you beat them, okay? But guess what? It's hard to secure advantage state against them because of how quickly they get rolling sometimes, with how many injures they get on the board. And then if you're not in advantage state and you go 2 and 2, the gens go really fucking slow. And then Charlotte doesn't have to split up. So it's like Charlotte will go near you. I think twins at high level are going to use discordance. Charlotte's just going to come right there, send out Victor. There's like 2 injures. Victor downs the guy, kicks. Oh, Charlotte's on you. And then the 2 people might pop a gen over there, but you're going to be shaping the map. You're going to be shaping the map, forcing the 3 gen. And then once they kill 1 person, it's over. Once they kill 1 person, it becomes a 1v3. These, on a 1v3, twins are definitely better than everybody else, except for Nurse and Spirit, obviously. When it's a 1v3, it's basically, against twins, it's a 3v2. You have essentially even numbers. You know how many games I've like borderline tunneled somebody as Charlotte, and then just set Victor out afterwards and still won? It's a 2v3. You essentially are even in numbers. Victor going at like 150, and then like with add-ons he's like at 180. He runs around, sweeps the gens. You know how much pressure you have? And then you can instantly teleport back to Charlotte. No other character in this game can get over there that fast. You can put Victor at the fucking generator at one end of Red Forest and Charlotte at the other, and you patrol those 2 gens. No other character in this game could travel that quickly. That's why their map pressure is so good. Their late game and 3 gens are some of the best 3 gens in the game. Like, yeah, they can be countered, but because it's like a far out gen, but they can split pressure very well on the gens. And they just need 1 opening. They just need 1 opening. If they're in a situation where there is like 3 injures and Victor downs like 2 people, you have a good play with Charlotte, you get the guy, you start camping those slugs, playing like a fucking scumbag. It's ridiculous. They're so fucking good. And it's all because Victor doesn't have any counter. And like, here's the thing, the difference, because you finally get to the point that the twins are younger than the Blight. This is true. Victor and Charlotte came out after Blight. However, Victor and Charlotte aren't rocket science. Blight is. Blight's meta is newer. As well as, Victor doesn't have as much counterplay. It's that simple, because Victor counters everything in the game. He counters all the exhaustion perks, counters Iron Will, counters all the windows. You ain't gonna get much better than what you got right now. You don't. You don't get much better than what you got right now. With the 2 and 2 thing. That's the thing I have to work more on to find the answer to. Which I think it's discordance combined with not separating, getting 2 slugs pretty fast. And then sending Charlotte and Victor out the other guys. Because here's the thing, if they split up even once, you win. Once Victor sees you, you're just fucked. You have to dance around and pray he misses. Which again, I'm on console, so like I probably will never be the best twins in the world because I know that they're better on PC. So like you have to just dance around and pray he misses. You can't rotate around the tree anymore. That doesn't work because of the Victor buff, where they like buffed his movement. You can't do that to him anymore. Victor can still get you. Victor will always get you. He is consistent, and he is consistent and has no counter. I want somebody to tell me what the counter to Victor is, if you think you have one. There's none. He's bad at elevation and some pre-drop pallets. That's about it. That's his counter. Which again, once you have advantage, Charlotte can get the fuck over there and just break everything. He doesn't like breakable walls very much either. Those are the best things you got. Charlotte being 115 does also hold the character out of double S. 115 is bad, and the hijacking is still bad as well. If you can hijack the fucker for like 30 seconds, that can be enough to just lose the game. Early pallets. And then even then, not all early pallets, if the tiles are long enough. But lucky break too. Well, here's the thing. Here's the thing, dude. That's a very ops comment. Listen. When Victor chases a healthy survivor, because he's going for a latch early game, the fucking guy has lucky break base. Like, the Twins player is probably the most experienced player on the roster dealing with lucky break, because they deal with it every game when they play as Victor, again, looking for a latch. If they look for a latch, they can only use their line of sight anyway. And Victor ain't losing line of sight. Because he goes 160. So you're not going to be able to break line of sight against Victor. He's going to be up your ass the whole time. And then he has to miss, which again, a good player's not doing. You're not going to see him, the good Twins player, miss like ever. With Victor. You're not going to see that. So like lucky breaks out. I don't think that holds any ground. I don't think lucky break does it. I don't think so. The fact that they force grouping, they force a 2-and-2 interaction is insanely good. It's insanely underrated. Victor being left at a gen to camp the gen is insanely underrated. These characters are insanely underrated. They are complex to play. They are. That's their biggest, and then they are still tainted by their bad release. A lot of people just won't play them because they're also like, there's a stigma that they're not very fun to go against, which I'm sure is true based on some of the things I've done to people before. They don't look like they're having much fun. This character will carry you if you can play them halfway decent. This character hard carries. Like they're not. Like the Twins aren't rocket science. Like they're kind of hard to play to get the feel for them a little bit, but that's about it. Once you got it down, got the map pressure down, can break some of the pallets really bad. Yeah, the taint of the bad release is a blessing, as well as no competitive scene. This character doesn't get undiscovered so long without a competitive scene. And another thing that people are going to be saying, well, Dowsey said that they're not viable against good teams. Yeah, if I was Dowsey, I'd say that too. That's exactly what I would say if I was Dowsey, and I had a huge audience, and the devs will nerf my character. That's exactly what I'd say. They're not viable against good teams, which I mean, yeah, they're not really. No other characters in the game are, except Nurse and Spirit. Twins and Blight are in their own tier. They're in the S tier, which is they could need nerfed if the Keystones ever become viable. That's where they are. But yeah, if I was Dowsey, I'd say that too. That's exactly what I would say. I'm not Dowsey. Nobody watches me, so I don't have to hide it from you to protect them. Dowsey's protecting them. I don't know how you don't see that. I protect them too. They're a treasure. They're the only reason I'm playing this game. They're an absolute fucking blessing. I'm not playing them right now because I'm not playing them with bad frames. But like, this is who I would take to tournaments. If a real competitive scene ever happened in this game, you would see them played a hell of a lot more. They're insanely good. Anybody that says they're B tier doesn't know what they're doing. They have one of the best slug games in Dead by Daylight. They can win the game in like fucking very, very quickly. And it just takes one window. It just takes one window to do it. When I played at high MMR, I went 3-2. Okay? Which again, 3-2 doesn't look like S tier material, but trust me, at high MMR going 3-2 was insane. And we played some really good teams, and we almost beat one of the insanely optimal teams that we lost to. Who would say Ben's Twins are B tier? You'd be surprised, bro. Some people in my Discord don't even agree. These characters are insane. And again, you heard it here first. Because I'm telling you what's going to happen. You know what is in this character's future, ladies and gentlemen? Listen to me. Hear my words. Take this as gospel. Listen. Listen. What is going to happen to this character is that when High MMR gets here, Scott John is going to play Survivor. He is going to match with a Twins player that is going to beat his fucking ass within 2.5 minutes. He will make a video on the Twins and they will be nerfed within the next few months. That is their future. When Scott John posts that fucking video about the Twins, you heard it here first. He will do it. I promise. He will bitch about them as soon as High MMR gets here. And they will see a rise in popularity when High MMR gets here. That is my prediction. You will see them more and more when High MMR shows up. Because they will be picked because they can win. They have potential to beat high-level Swift. They're not as good as Nurse and Spirit, but they can definitely fucking win. They have a window to win. Because of the fact they force suboptimal gameplay, they are the only character in the game that can force suboptimal gameplay based on their design. Nurse can kind of do it because of her insane pressure, but like, Twins were like designed to do it. That is insanely good. This character is top 3. And I think that's about it. That's the S tier. Twins and Blight. Okay. Number 2, ladies and gentlemen. Now, my tradition with Nurse and Spirit is I always do them in one entry, because they're the least obvious 1 and 2 in the world. I don't need to sit here and tell you guys why Nurse and Spirit are better than the rest of the roster. Everybody already fucking knows why. Okay? So what I do is I compare them to each other. That's what I do. I compare them to each other. I think that's the thing that makes the most sense. You don't need me to tell you why Nurse and Spirit are better than everybody. Okay? So I'm gonna go ahead and just get my order out of the way. Hot take, which I think is becoming less and less hot. Nurse is 2, Spirit's 1. Okay. Okay. I want you to tell me who has the better early game between the two of them. Who is mathematically going to get to a generator faster? Nurse or Spirit? Who's getting there first? You got a gen on. You spawn in a fractured cow shed. You're going to Shack. Who gets there first? Who gets there first? Spirit gets there first with her insane power. Spirit will get there way fucking quicker. Okay, that's the first thing. 1, when Spirit was Nurse, no. Maybe with her match blink add-ons. I don't think so. And she's got that fucking fatigue. So even if she gets there before Spirit, the survivors already know that she's there. Especially with well, we're factoring in the add-on. Spirit gets there first. There's no way she doesn't. I would actually like to test this though. I'm speculating Spirit gets there first. Nurse has to do 2 blanks and then a fatigue. And then Spirit pops out of her power, probably at the probably like around the fucking Shack area and has already started pressing. Spirit gets there first. Especially with her green add-ons, she gets there first. And then I was like, Spirit's gonna be pressuring the survivors way faster. Okay? Listen. Next. So Spirit has better mobility. We've just established this. Okay, so who's punished for dropping Chase more? Who's punished for dropping the Chase more? Nurses. If Nurse decides she needs to switch targets, if the Nurse player decides that she has to switch targets and go for somebody weaker, or the Spirit player decides that she needs to switch targets, the Spirit gets there first. Unless they like get there at the same time because they're really close. But even then, Nurse's movement is tied to a fatigue. She has to sit there every 2 seconds and get pallet stunned. She is clunky for that reason. And she has to drop down and break line of sight. Every time she blinks, she has to break line of sight. Every time. Because she has like a 2-second fatigue. Then she has to immediately wake up and get reoriented. Okay? And if they're like behind a wall or something, yeah, you can guess they're there. But like, Spirit just doesn't have to do that. Unnecessary limitation on the character. Okay, listen, and then again, this gets on to the Huntress and Slinger argument earlier. A lot of people say, well, Rosie, look at Marth's game. Look at Marth's game, bruh. Look at that. Look how easy Look how easy Marth fucking demolished somebody in 2.5 minutes. Like, who cares? Like, I don't care that Nurse can go pub stomp somebody in 2.5 minutes. I don't like Oracle, Thasner. I think Oracle's overrated garbage. Oracle tied a Bubba player. Oracle almost lost to a random fucking Bubba that I've never heard of. If Oracle is tying a Bubba at all ever in 2021, they're not top 1%. Oracle is trash. I don't care about Oracle. Next thing. The next thing. When Nurse blinks, everybody can see when she's doing it. You get more information on what the Nurse is doing when she's going to blink. They tied to a fucking Bubba. They're trash. So when Nurse blinks, she raises her arm. You see what direction she's going to go. And then you can, like, inference where she's going to go next because of what she needs to do to get the down. When Spirit phases, you can't see her. Spirit has guaranteed time away from Swift to get to do something. She has guaranteed time to where you don't know what she's going to do. You can never actually 100% be assured of what she is going to do. You can never be 100% sure of what she's going to do. Ultra safe pallets and ultra safe windows, I don't think that's that big of a deal. And plus, a lot of those God loops are not even in the game anymore. Which, yeah, Nurse has to break it, but like, if Nurse is going to go through there, she has to make a huge whopping guess, and she gets hard punished if she misses. And she's got the fig teeth, then she tries again, which of course, yeah, she can try again, but like, it's just not as consistent. It's just not as consistent. Spirit hits the map faster, she pressures faster. Even if you want to say that she's slightly worse in chase, her other positive attributes make up for that. Playing against Nurse is like playing against Blight. Like there is no complexity to like what she's doing. She can only occupy a very limited space at one time. Survivors lack information whenever she's doing anything, whenever she's using the power, or if she's staying still. Spirit can cause miscommunications between survivors way fucking easier. Nurse cannot do that. It is way easier for a Spirit to throw a Swift off than a Nurse. Nurse is very... I mean, her power is broken, don't get me wrong. Her Nurse's power is absolutely 100% broken. But... she can't cause miscommunication. The survivors can always be in control of what the hell is going on. Whereas against a Spirit, that's just not a thing. Yeah, Spirit can like chase you 110 sometimes, but like, but like, bruh, like that is so insufficient because of how good her power is. Again, Nurse can beat pubs faster, but when somebody knows how to go against the Nurse and how to actually counterplay the Nurse, like Nurse can have some long chases, especially when the line of sight breaks. Especially when the line of sight breaks are there. Well, yeah, but that's the same thing with Spirit, but except Spirit might get you maybe 10 seconds later. I don't think that 10 seconds is sufficient enough to make up for Spirit's other qualities, like the erratic movement, the ability to throw them off. Nurse is just very go in a straight line, maybe rotate this way a little bit. Like I don't think she's better than Spirit. And it is becoming a less hot take to say that. It really is. More and more people are starting to see it. Like, saying Spirit was better than Nurse was maybe a hot take 2 years ago. It's not really a hot take anymore. Because Spirit has better pressure. She might not be able to win the 1v1 as fast, maybe, in some situations, but it's a Huntress Death Slinger thing. Nurse will beat the pubs faster, but against the consistent teams, Nurse probably gonna get escape on a little bit more. And the Spirit's add-ons are better. That's also true. Nurse's add-on kit sucks. Even when it was Ultimate, Spirit has many problematic add-ons. But like, there's no denying that her add-on kit's better than Nurse. That's easy. Because Nurse has some garbage. Nurse has like 4 viable add-ons. Spirit has like fucking almost 10. Spirit has like almost 10. Like, yeah, Nurse will go in there and beat pubs easier. She will. She'll look great if you go in there and just stomp a pub team with her. But I don't know, bro. That just doesn't do it for me anymore. I think high MMR is going to be interesting on this kind of debate. Nurse is better on mid, which that's probably true, yeah. Nurse likes the highest, Nurse likes the verticality more, that is true. It's definitely map dependent. When we had to kill your friends the other day, we were on Dead Dog, and the guy was, we had the survivor named Oats Vara in here, who's just there to make fun of me. He was getting chased by a nurse, and he lasted very, very long. And then, after the match, I asked him, I said, who do you think would have gotten you first, Nurse or Spirit? And he said, Spirit. You're on Dead Dog there. Like that is the kind of stuff we're talking about here. And on a map like Larry's, you'd rather be Spirit. There are a lot of maps in this game where you'd rather be Spirit. And again, that's something that people were not saying a few years ago. A few years ago, it was Nurse no matter what. And that's just not true anymore. And also, Spirit's more player-friendly. This is the kind of the outside of the game stuff. You wonder why you see Spirit so much. Nurse is the character that's not player-friendly. She's buggy, too. The Nurse is buggy. You don't know when you're going to play Nurse, and she might just fuck out on you on a certain spot. Spirit is more consistent. Spirit is much more consistent. But like, there are no pros yet. Without MMR, there's really no grounds to say who's good and who's bad. And like, when you're blinking through 3 walls on Larry's and Nurse and still getting somebody, like, how good was that person? How good was that person? You had 3 rooms to break line of sight on the guy, and you didn't get away from him? Like, I don't see it, bro. I think MMR might, I want to see the results on high MMR. I'm still sticking with Spirit, though, for right now. I think Spirit gets a lot of stuff in terms of pressure, erratic movement to throw off the Swifts. Because Nurse gives off so much information. When she's blinking and you know it's her within 2 seconds, like, she gives off so much information. Spirit just doesn't do that. You just don't know where she's gonna go, and then, yeah, it's just, I don't see it yet, bro. So there you go. Let's do the quick rundown one more time, and then I'm getting the hell out of here. 4 hours, bro. We killed it tonight. Appreciate you guys sticking around. Let's do this one more time. I'll have an image of this posted up tomorrow. 24 Trickster, 23 Trapper, 22 Myers, 21 Pig, 20 Legion, 19 Plague, 18 Clown, 17 Demo, 16 Ghostface, 15 Hillbilly, 14 Pyramid Head, 13 Nemesis, 12 Huntress, 11 Slinger, 10 Wraith, 9 Bubba, 8 Freddy, 7 Doctor, 6 Hag, 5 Oni, 4 Blight, 3 Twins, 2 Nurse, 1 Spirit. There you go, bro. Another tier list done. I'll be seeing y'all in 6 months on this one. Jesus. 4 hours of talking. That is insane to me. It's almost 6 a.m. here. I'm going to hit the hay, boys. GG's.